What's up, folks? What's good? What's good? We talking today. That's the key thing. We talking. It's called communication. We need y'all input today. King, what's up, King? Get better, man, so we can get you back out there in that gym. Saturday we doing the run. I think it's a 5K. I think that's like 2 miles or something like that. Fat Boy 252, what up? Scott, what's good, player? Congratulations. Scott just did a joint venture. I didn't see exactly what it was. I'm thinking it's something like a property or whatever. You know what I mean? Good stuff. Good stuff, player. All right, we let a couple people come in this joint. Today, the importance of communication in a relationship. That's what we're talking about. Relationship is communication is good. Is there such thing as over communication? You know what I mean? I think we always talk about under communicating or not communicating enough, but is there such thing as over communicating? You know what I mean? Or how important is communication, period? I mean, that's the discussion. But anyway, Cherie, you can start off with our intro.
So,
Oh no, don't go into don't go into the communication yet. Start off with the intro. Yeah, 3 miles is a 5K. No, I was gonna say start off with the intro that we do before before you chime in.
um, so, I'm Cherie. This is Jamal. We've been married for 12 years, and um, it hasn't been easy. But we had decided to start doing this podcast to share with people our perspectives on life and getting other people's perspective um, on just life situations. And yeah.
All right, so how you feel about you know what I mean the topic of communication? You know what I mean? What's your take on the topic of
It's
communication?
important. That I feel like communication. If you don't have communication, you don't have a relationship.
So when, like, why would you
Because
say that?
if
That's just,
if
you know what I'm
you
saying? Like,
if
I get
you
that.
with somebody, like if you can't do something as simple as communicate, what's going on, and y'all calling yourself a team, or y'all are building this foundation. You can't build the foundation by not communicating. Like, you have to communicate. You can't feel like, oh, you only tell the person you with something when it's convenient. Like, that's the problem. That's why a lot of relationships have issues, like ours. Hey, cousin. Because we don't communicate. The communication is not good. A lot of relationships don't last because of that. Because you got one person that feel like, oh, I don't have to tell you everything, and that be the problem. And there's no such thing as over communicating with somebody. Like, it's just common sense. No, you're not going to be like, oh, I just brushed my teeth. Oh, I just went to the bathroom. Oh, I just washed my hands. No, we talking about day-to-day life. You have to communicate, especially if you're in a serious relationship with somebody or trying to build a serious relationship with somebody.
So let me ask you a question. When it comes to like this communication, so I think it's you know what I'm saying. Like, let me ask you this: do you think that like how you communicate is important? You know what I'm saying? Like when you communicate, how you communicate? Do you think how you communicate is
Yeah,
important
that's
also,
that's important, but
or
if
just you
if the
think like
person is not being respectful to you, why do you feel like you should get the same amount of respect? If you're being disrespectful to somebody, when they're trying to communicate with you, because either they're not saying something that you want to hear, or you, again, if you got that mindset that I don't have to tell you everything, then, or it's not that deep. Like, or again, if you just got that mentality that you feel like you shouldn't have to say anything to anybody, then why are you in a relationship then? And you can't say something to somebody at the when the situation is about to happen, or in the midst of the situation, and expect somebody to be understanding either. Like, it doesn't work like that. That's not how communication works. Again, that's why a lot of relationships be messed up, because you have two people, or you'll have one person in the relationship that's like feeling like, well, I shouldn't have to tell my partner everything, or I shouldn't have to communicate, hey, I shouldn't have to communicate certain things.
So let me ask you a question. When we like, how would like a partner know? Because you know, like you said, it's certain day to day things that need to be communicated. Um, and some things you don't need to necessarily, you know, like you said, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So how does somebody know the difference between like what to tell a partner and what not to? You know, even if they like, say for instance, they're not trying to be, you know, they're not trying to be sneaky, or they're not trying to, you know, keep information away from you. You know, how would they know, or what's a good way for them to, like, you know, figure out the difference between communicating and,
It's common sense.
you know,
If you're
just
in a relationship with somebody,
over
like I
communicating.
said, it again, like I said in our, not the last live because we was live in person, but the live before that, like, you know, when we were talking about the sacrifices, like, you know, all the men were getting all uptight when they kept hearing finances. But sacrifices is not just about finances. I'm not knocking finances, but that's not a true definition of sacrificing. For a woman, again, if we get offered a job today and tomorrow, we're thinking about our kids, we're thinking about our spouse, we're thinking about our life, like our overall situation. We're not just making decisions and saying, oh yeah, I'll take that job. No, we're thinking about everybody, include and actually thinking about ourselves last, because we're going to hesitate to take a job if it doesn't make sense in our overall situation. So we'll take a sacrifice of having a great job opportunity because it may not make sense in our overall situation, and we don't have to.
Yeah, I do. So I see what you're saying in terms of, I don't know. I know you was talking about more so, and I see some comments in here too. Also, this is another thing too, y'all. Like sometimes we can't always get a chance to see all of the comments because it'll just keep scrolling down. So if you got a question, put it right there in that question. Hit that question mark just so we can see it and we can all comment on it. Because some of y'all be having some really good comments, but I want everybody to see it, not just, you know what I mean, not just a few people. But I know we was talking about, you know, communication, and then we went to the sacrifice part. But you know, just to speak on what you were saying in terms of the men got, you know, felt some type of way that you was saying that finances didn't matter. But I just want to put in the context, you know, for men, and I think probably anybody that works, but just for the sake of what we talking about, you know, for men, like unless you just really got undisposable money, you know what I mean, then when you're giving money, depending upon like your situation, you might not care. It might not be nothing. It's like, oh, here go a couple dollars. Like if somebody just has undisposable money that is just, you know, money on top of money, and money ain't really nothing, and they're giving you money, then I can see you saying, yo, like money is not, you know, or finances or money or whatever is not a sacrifice. Because for that person, it's like they got millions or billions or whatever, so that couple dollars that they give you is not a sacrifice. But if we're talking about hardworking men, if we're talking about men that chose to say, you know what, I'm going to take my last dollar that I earned from working 10 hours, 12 hours, 18 hours in a day, and I'm going to make sure that all of that goes to my family. And like you said, choose themselves last instead of being out in this club, instead of throwing this money up, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. This time, this effort that I'm putting into my job, I'm going to put this money that I just earned, blood, sweat, and tears, I'm going to put that into my family. And so what I was saying was, for men that are doing that, hardworking men, and that's probably most of the people that are looking at this, hardworking men are going to be taken back by somebody saying that our hard-earned money is not a sacrifice, because the money is just what the result of our hard work. So that hard work that we're putting in at that job, as opposed to not working, playing PlayStation or whatever, that is a sacrifice. So that's what I'm saying. Now, if somebody has,
trying to take away from
you know, money, that's a different.
And that's what I was trying to state. But again, if you have a one-track mind, you're going to feel like somebody's trying to offend you. Because I'm not taking away from a person that works hard, because women work just as hard as the men work hard. But what I'm saying to you is that if a woman gets a great opportunity, she is going to think about her family first before she makes a decision. So again, it's about communication, you know, today, and that plays a major role. I'm going to come to you and communicate with you like, listen, I got this job opportunity, you know, we got this and that going on with the kids, you got stuff going on. Like, that's communication. I'm not going to go in there and be like, oh yeah, I'll take the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what people in a relationship do. They communicate with the person that they are with. Women work just as hard as men. I'm not taking anything from a person that makes money and everything they got to do. But what I'm saying is that a man is not thinking about his overall family and wife or anything else before he decides to make that type of decision. What I'm saying, that's why when.
Well, let me interject. Let me interject.
Oh.
You're not a man. So that disqualifies you from knowing what a man thinks when he's making certain decisions. Now, I'm all for what you're saying in terms of communication. And at the end of the day, I don't think that you're going to even be a partner with a man that's not going to put his family at the forefront. So some decisions that man makes, or some decision that the woman makes,
I know,
you're just going to have to trust it and ride, because they're making decisions that are going to be for the best or of your whole team. It's some decisions that you may need to make that I may not have the opportunity or the benefit of being able to chime in on. But guess what? I can close my eyes with you making a decision about our family, because I know without a shadow of doubt you're going to make the best decision when it comes to us and our family. And so that's why I don't always need for you to tell me every single thing. It's times that I'm not going to know. But what I do know, and this is all I need to know, is if you riding or you not. And at the end of the day, you riding. And that's good enough for me. So certain decisions, yes, most decisions we need to chime in on. But if you just happen to not make a decision, or if you make an executive decision, if I'm not around and you have to make an executive decision, then I trust it. So that to me is where I want, where I think a relationship should aspire to get to the point where, of course we're going to discuss things, but we're also going to be on the same page and have an understanding that, whatever decisions we make, it is for the betterment of our team. So, that's how I feel about
listening to how you talking, like you're not listening. You just speaking off of your own emotions, because all you hear is, well, you're not a man. You're not a woman either, but you have a whole lot to say about what a woman's supposed to do. You got a lot of voice about what you think a woman thinks or how a woman feels. So at the end of the day, if I'm speaking from my own opinion, I'm entitled to my opinion. Not necessarily saying that I'm a man and I'm speaking from a man's perspective, because I'm not. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. But you got a whole lot to say from a woman's perspective as well. But I'm not getting all upset because you're speaking from, your own opinion. That's your own opinion. That's your opinion on how you feel that whatever a woman or whatever the situation is. I'm just speaking from not just per se you, but I'm saying with most men, you know what I'm saying, the communication part be messed up, because no matter if you're going to make a good decision or not, I'm not going against you making a bad decision or not. It's about communicating and taking certain things into consideration before you make just a decision, period. And that's just common sense. That's just life. I think about my spouse. I think about you all the time with any and everything that I'm doing, regardless if I do make a decision or not. I'm still thinking about you, like, oh yeah, you know what? It should be good. We good. We can do it. That's how I'm thinking. I'm not thinking about you and just answering and doing whatever I'm doing. You're always on my mind. If it's something that is serious and it's like, oh, you know what? Let me talk to my husband. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. Regardless, I'm coming to you. I'm having a conversation with you, and we're going to figure out a game plan moving forward. But that doesn't mean I'm taking away from, again, a man with finances. Because as I said, women work just as hard and everything else. But I feel like women think first before they act. Men just act and don't think.
Or they think last.
After the
or
fact.
they think after.
That's all
or
I'm
they
saying.
think after the fact, or they think 5 minutes into it, or they. I think the thing with, hey y'all, just saying hi.
What up?
The one thing I don't understand also why finances are considered a sacrifice, especially if that's your family. Isn't that called responsibility? That's a part of what you're supposed to do, and not because you're supposed to do it, because that's. But when you decide to have a family, you decide to take someone as your wife, to have children with them, or even if y'all don't decide to get married, but y'all still doing the same thing without it. That's a part of what's supposed to be done, and that's on both parties. So, like Cherie said, I don't necessarily need. I'm going to always say I got to talk to my husband first. Sometimes I use it as an excuse because I don't really want to do it, and I can be like, you know what? Let me check with my husband, knowing that I ain't going to get back to whatever that is. But still, I still always do, and I think the problem with lack of communication with men sometimes is that we're not saying that you probably don't have the best judgment in the back of your head. And it's not always about being in the know, because I've been told by my husband, you always want to be in the know. And I say, yeah, but you got to realize your decision is going to affect me somehow, some way. It never affects just you, because even when it's affecting you, it's affecting me. So it's kind of like you got to think about it in that way. And that's why women are more likely to do that, because especially if you're a mother, like I just became a mom, but I thought about that before that with 2 dogs. So it's kind of like, I'm just like, okay, we can't do that. Okay, crap. I wasn't even thinking about this because I got to do, like, you think about these things, but you're thinking about them with the respect that I need his opinion before I give you any decision. Or let me check and see what we may have going on, because I already know what we have going on, but I'm still checking with him. And you may even shoot him a text with like, yo, such and such want to do this or whatever. What you think? And depending on how, time sensitive you need to respond to the person, you may have to make an executive decision before that, but otherwise it could wait until they get back to you. And the thing is, most times y'all be like, oh, I don't care, whatever you think. And I'm just like, okay, if I wanted to be in a single mindset relationship, then I don't need your opinion, basically. But because I don't want to be in a single mindset relationship, I want to be in a committed marital relationship, I'm going to ask the opinion of my person and disclose maybe more information than I need to. Sometimes it's bit me in the behind by disclosing too much information. Some things I could have kept to myself, but I feel like transparency is better than not, because I had to learn the hard way with not being transparent on something that I thought was so small and minute, but to them it was the biggest thing in the world. And even to this day, we have arguments sometimes about that, because I'm just like, it wasn't even that big of a fucking deal in my head.
And
but to him, it was the biggest thing in the world. But the biggest thing that I want him to tell me about, he don't think it's that big of a deal. So we're not on the same plane when it comes to certain things. On what, like someone asked in the comments, what's considered oversharing? Nothing. Tell me everything. I might not even like it. I may be like, what the fuck you telling me this for? In my head, but I can't be mad at that, because I want you to tell me everything. Sometimes I used to, long time ago, I talked to somebody. I started talking to this guy, and we ended up just being friends because we didn't want the same thing. But he was what you call oversharing. He was so honest that was almost like, bro, you actually don't have to tell me that. I don't want to know that because I ain't trying, but you got to respect it at the same time. Just like, actually, I respect that because I can't be like, I want to know everything and then be mad by you telling me. Like, no, I may not like it, but that's something that you got to grow up and be mature about as a woman, as a man. If you want somebody to be transparent and be open and unapologetically about it, you got to be able to receive that information, good, bad, or in between.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. And all right, so I will say this in terms of the financial part, you know what I mean? We're going to go back to that. So the fact that it is a part of our responsibility is irrelevant to the point that we were making at that time. So there are other things that, you know what I mean, a woman does that, sacrifices that a woman does and that a man do, and it's just a part of what you signed up for. So we're going to just lump finances up with that. We're going to lump up everything. We're going to lump up, whatever it is, the duties that a man and woman does. The significance in my point was the fact that, it comes off as you're counting out something that someone's doing to sacrifice. So that really comes off as if Cherie said, you know what, I cook, I handle my business, and I'm like, well,
You
cooking
say
is your
that. You have
responsibility.
said that.
And it's like, no,
you have said that.
no, you cut me off. That's it. And that's the thing. Women don't know when to be quiet. And that's what I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm coming from, because a lot of women lose good men because you don't know when to shut your mouth sometimes. I'm just being real with you. So sometimes just listen. You always feel like you need to be heard. And sometimes it's topics you have no experience with, no background history in, but you just feel that you should be the one to be heard all the time. And men bring a lot to the table in terms of a knowledge base and things of that nature. So sometimes it's knowing when to see. A smart person knows what to say, you know what I mean? But a wise person knows when to be quiet. And so that wisdom doesn't really kick in for some women at times, where some men at times just want peace. They just want, and that's enough for a lot of men at times. Peace, and even peace and quiet. It could be a cuddle, it could be a sit next to me. Sometimes just that is cool. Now, if we're talking about, and that was just addressing the over communication. Yes, it can be over communication. It can be nagging. It can literally be that this guy may have some things that he has going on, and he doesn't want to hear, have this conversation at that moment. Maybe if it's at that moment, and that's offensive at times. So sometimes the over communication or talking too much is pushing men out the door left and right, and they're seeking peace and quiet. Sometimes not even another woman. It may just be peace. So that's that piece. All right. That's also the financial piece. In general, I'm agreeing with everything you guys are saying in terms of communicating with your partners for issues of the house. It's a team. But guess what? Sometimes you're, again, like you said, sometimes you're in a position and I'm not around. I trust the decision you're going to make, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to be okay with and not be on the control tip or the power tip and say, hey, you know what I mean? He had to make a decision at that time. And that's that. Secondly, you signed up to be a wife to a man, and the man is signed up to be the head of the household, and you don't like that. But we're going to have that conversation. Yes, you're a support team. We're a team together, but there is also a leader of the team. And see, you don't like that. That really rubs you the wrongest way. But in your Bible, it says that you took on your husband's last name. He didn't take on yours. So you have to recognize at times that, you know what, I'm going to let my man, because I chose a man, and I'm going to allow him to do the man thing. So stop trying to play multiple roles all the time, because you're not always equipped for everything, and you have to allow people to be who they are, and you're not allowing men to be men. So that's an issue. That's why we're running men out of the households left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why we're running men out of the. I will agree to disagree on that one.
Okay.
Because
how long
I
you been
don't
with your
think
man? How long
we've been together for, it'll be almost 5 years.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you right now that a lot of things that you're saying, I've heard that from a lot of men, The thing is this: a
But
woman
you ain't
has no
listening to
Let her
problem.
her.
talk,
Again,
Jamal.
No. Let me finish
okay.
what I'm
But
saying.
don't.
What I'm saying is that I've heard that from a lot of different men. However, sometimes these ain't the men that's showing you leadership. So the difference is that you want me to follow your lead. Show me leadership. Don't do stupid, dumbass shit. And then I'm supposed to be jumping on board with that? No, I'm not ride or die like that. Especially
You
if it's
already
a
did.
if,
You signed up to be married.
no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just because we're married doesn't mean I have to agree with the things you do. I can support you in different ways, but I'm thinking that, okay, if you want me to follow you, give me something to follow. Don't just say because you the man in the house, I'm supposed to just stay and do everything you say. But if it don't make sense, make it make sense. Now the thing is this is we don't everybody, when you come together, y'all have two different personalities, two different values, two different morals. And sometimes you may not do something the same way that your husband may do it or your wife may do it. But that's why you have a conversation. But the thing is, there's men out there that just want you to listen to them because they have a penis and they decided to make you their husband, and they're not doing things that are showing leadership. Now, if you're not going to do things that show leadership, now you're forcing me to get us out the hole that you just got us in because I'm following dumb stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna give you another example. My brother, he has a wife, and I cussed her out. You don't know why? Because she let him do something stupid instead of being the person like, hold up, bro. No. We're not doing this. You got this to lose. You got that to lose. And bring him off of that. And I cussed her out because she's like, well, I don't need to have a man not to let my man do something stupid that's going to affect all of us and him for the rest of his life, which it has. So I know that y'all don't want to hear something that women say sometimes. It feels like nagging. But the thing is, because you're not listening with the ears of, you know what, she got a point. Because I'd rather have somebody talk me off a ledge than support stupidity.
Well, I'll say this. So, you know what I mean? In terms of when we talking about, I'm getting you out the hole, this and the third, that's a part of the game. Because let me hold up for a second. I know y'all look at the social media. I know y'all look at the Real Housewives of Atlanta and, these tea parties and all the cute shit. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is, we black. And shit gonna be rough at times. So if you signing up with me, then you just gonna be for this ride. Because guess what? I'm gonna make the best decisions for my family just like you. You're not always gonna make the right decision, but that don't give you the right to take away, you know what I'm saying, my right to make a decision within our household. Good, bad, or indifferent at times.
That's not what I said, though.
That's
not what I said.
Because nobody's
it's gonna be rocky
That's
over
not
here.
even what I said, though. That's not even what I said.
You're just going against the fact of
I didn't say
somebody
that.
is saying that the communication in the relationship. You see, that's the problem with men. You know what I mean? All y'all, you say women love to talk, men love to talk. You don't want to hear the truth, and that's it. You think, oh, a woman, she just wants to be right, and she just wants to prove a point. It has nothing to do with that. And it doesn't even have to get to that extreme if you have two grown individuals that know how to have a grown-up conversation. But when you don't have that and you got somebody feeling like you can't tell me what to do or you can't tell me because you don't know, how? Then what is my purpose then? Why am I here? If you got all the answers, you got everything under control, and again, it ain't no head of no household, because that's not what it say. It's called husband and wife. If you don't want to be a husband, cool. I don't gotta be a wife. There's rules and regulations to this shit. This ain't no one-sided. Like, oh, because you the head of the household. What? Oh, so that just makes you exempt of playing your role.
The thing is,
listen, hold on. Let me explain something. It hurts your soul. Hold up, I'm so sorry. It hurts your soul that you are not the head of the household per se.
No, it don't. I don't want to be the head of the household.
I don't want to be that. It hurts your soul.
I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that.
Let me explain something.
I don't want to be that.
It hurts your soul to know that you have to play the supportive role for your man.
No,
that your man is the leader of the household. But guess what? Take it up with God.
Listen, we have
don't be mad at me.
That's it.
Be mad at the Lord because He put in all the books that you ever read that have anything to do with religion. And
It's
it doesn't
having
mean
to
that
step
it doesn't
in
mean
that
you don't have
role
a
when I
say.
don't
It
want to
doesn't
be in
mean we're
that
not
role.
partners. But at the end of the day, it's times, yes, where I'm going to make the final decision. And if you don't like it, I get it. But that's what you should have researched before you decided to get married. I'm sorry, it's
That's
in
not what
every
Yeah,
we're
like
book.
he
talking about
moving
right now.
style.
I
He
think you're
moving
Hold
missing the
on, let
style.
me
whole
ask you a
He
point.
question.
not
Is it
listening.
in?
You're
Hold on,
missing
hold
the
on.
whole
No, no,
point.
no. Because I mean, all the gibberish. We get. Let's get right to the cut, right to the chase. Yeah, I mean,
You're
let's
missing the
find a
point.
definition of what being a wife is, what being a husband is, this, that, and the third, and let's go off of that. But every book that you've ever read that's religious or whatever you swore in the Bible and all that, it's in your Bible. So don't get mad at men for feeling that it's our rightful place to be head of our household and want to commit to that. I'm not just saying I
Nobody
want to
But
keep
there's
said
nothing
that.
growing.
wrong
Hold
with
up for a
that.
second. Hold up for a second. Hold up for a second. Hold up for a second. Hear me out. I'm not done though. Nobody said, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that I want the couch, I want the remote and the beer, you know what I mean? And
Sometimes
I'm
you
the
gotta
king.
let them
No, no,
make
no, no,
the
no.
stupid decision.
Niggas
Let
is
them
saying
figure it
like,
out.
listen,
They will appreciate your vibe
this is a
when they're
man
head of the
that is
household.
deciding, this is a man that's deciding to ride for his household. In every way. Again, one of the things we said in terms of sacrifice, which nobody brought up, it wasn't even finances. We didn't necessarily lead with that. What I said was when a man decides to be the head of his household or be a husband, he's also deciding to lead with his life. Because one of the examples that I gave is that if somebody comes inside a house, the first person that is leading outside the door or leading down the steps to approach whatever threat it is going to be the man. So in that case, I'm not going to run from it. I'm not running. I'm not ducking none of that work. I'm within my responsibility in terms of what I understand is my responsibility and duty as a man to be first up, make sure y'all safe, and go down there and handle what needs to be handled. So you're not going to try to take. You're not going to try to take that same authority that I have to risk my life, and you're not going to take that away from me when it comes to making certain decisions. And that's certain. We're a
Nobody, but
team at
see,
the end
it'd
of the
be
day.
different if
But the
somebody
reality
said
of
that.
it is,
Nobody said
your
that.
husband is the
Nobody
leader
said that.
of your household. You may not like it, but that's
Nobody said
the
that.
But I
Bible
didn't say
sworn says
that.
that.
But I didn't say that. What I said is that
Yep.
I said nothing about that. What I said is that I need you to give me you need to show leadership. Because and that's something that you maybe y'all start to develop and early on in your relationship, you start to see somebody's qualities, just like you look at her qualities and see what qualities she could bring to the table as your spouse. It goes both ways. And no one said, if anything, I don't want to be the head of the household. I do want to lead. But the thing is, when you get in situations with people who do things that make you now, because there's no reason why it should be, oh, okay, you got us in the hole. All right, well, fine. That's your job. You're supposed to get us out. No, that's dumb. Why are we making dumb decisions? I'd rather not make that mistake. And I'd rather foresee something that I'm like, you know what, hold up. Maybe we shouldn't do this because this is what can happen. And if it doesn't happen, great. But at least we thought about what could possibly happen. I don't like walking around blind. And I ain't going to walk around blind with somebody else when I got 2 eyes. Actually 4 because I wear glasses. So I'm just saying there's no reason, and there's no reason to be like, the thing is, head of the household doesn't mean that, oh, what I say goes. Head of the household also
Yeah,
means
because
consulting with
nobody.
your partner.
Well,
That's a
it's
part of
all
having
clear
a
that a man
maturity.
is head of the household. Nobody is taken away from that. The issue is that men don't take certain things into consideration when it comes to a lot of things, and then get mad when they feel like, or they feel intimidated thinking that somebody's trying to take something away from them as a man. Nobody never even said anything like that, because that's a true story. You can't take away from a fact. That's a fact that a man is the head of the household. Nobody can never take away from that. But you have to learn to listen and understand that it's not just about you. Yeah, you are a leader, but you have other people involved. It's not just about you. It's not. It's not
Sure indeed.
like, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be like, oh, because I'm the man and I'm the head of the household, I'ma just do whatever I want to do. No, you can't. You gotta.
Oh, nobody
No,
say
I
all that.
didn't say
Stop
no,
that, man.
but you
But
you
that's how you was
exaggerate. You
talking.
getting
Come
on.
on. No, I just had to say
No,
some
it's
real
not a
stuff that
fact.
y'all don't
Nobody
like.
said that.
Like,
But
let's
you're
get that
saying false
established. The
stuff. No
man
one
is
said
at
I
a
Yeah,
didn't
hold
like
up.
great
it.
That's
leaders
all I want.
You're
Hold up.
listen.
speaking
That's
in
all I want to
circles.
do
Great,
is get that
great leaders
established. Let's start
listen.
from there.
They listen and
You
always
know what I
ready
mean?
to learn.
No
Always.
one said anything
But you
about
have
what
to
you were
listen.
saying
You're
though.
not going to
No
get
one said
offended.
anything.
Yeah,
And they seek counsel.
that's
No,
a
because
yeah,
and I'm gonna
and
tell you
that's a
why.
fact.
When you say stuff like I don't wanna lead, if you're making dumb decisions, I'm sorry, I don't want to be the head of the household or whatever, but if you're making dumb decisions, I'm gonna be the head of the household. Listen.
No. I said you putting me in a position where I gotta fix the mess.
All right, that's
that
cool,
I tried to warn you on. That's what I said.
That's fine. I respect. We still gonna ride with that. We gonna ride with that.
A good leader, you know, also considers the input of other people, and that's all that I'm saying.
They seek counsel.
Right. So hear me out. No. Listen. I'm not disagreeing with you. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. You know what I mean? And everybody's saying the cookie cutter stuff. We all know that. You know what I mean? It's no I in team. We got any other little Corey Jones, like we know all of that.
You're sitting here reacting as if someone said nobody.
I get all of that.
I get all that.
No. We got that. We got that. That's the basic Jones. Listen, that stuff is not profound. We all get that. You know what I mean? We get that. We beyond that, John. What I'm saying is this. I'm saying at the end of the day, you have to understand that when you decide to be with your man, you are deciding to be with this man for better or for worse. He's going to make bad decisions. He's still growing. You're going to make bad decisions. But that doesn't mean that, you know what I mean, I got to fix everything because now it's all about you. It's not about you. He's still the head of that household. You can make more money than him. He's still the head of that household. You can make better decisions. He's still the head of that household. You made that covenant with God that you were going to be the wife. And at the point that you're the wife, y'all are a team and a unit. And your main goal is to do best for that household. But at the end of the day, yes, he makes the final decision. He has the authority to make that final decision. However, like all y'all said, having good leadership is not running around being a tyrant. You know what I mean? I'm not advocating for anybody, you know, making erratic decisions, not being a listener, you know what I mean, in critical times, not being able to yield. But sometimes you are going to be in a position where you're going to have to allow your man to make mistakes. And sometimes you can't condemn him. It's very similar. Our relationships within our marriage are similar in ways to our relationship to our children. We still have to understand that, okay, my son, my daughter might have made a bad decision, but at the end of the day, we still have to give them an allowance because they're imperfect, they're human. We still have to give them an allowance because they are young, they're still maturing, they're still growing. But we have to understand what their intention is. Now, if you have a man and his intentions are bad, if he doesn't intend on doing right by his household, if he doesn't intend on doing better for his household, then I get that. Now that's a different story. But if you have a man that's committed and his intentions are to do right, but might be making a bad mistake within a certain situation or whatever, then you have to support him. The thing about it is not always about correcting his mistake. Sometimes it's helping to support him through that so he can be a better man in the future. So we have to not just correct a mistake, right? You ain't paid the bill, so I'm gonna pay the bill. Sometimes it's a way that we can have that effective communication, because that's important. How can you have effective communication so you can build your woman up? How can you have effective communication?
Overly share.
How can you have effective communication so you can build your man up? That's what we need.
Meaning, like, if you come to me honestly, so say like something happened, like, you know, I was supposed to get paid this, my check wasn't what it was supposed to be. I was supposed to pay this bill, this would happen. Come to me as your partner and be like, say that and be like, and I'll be like, all right, we're gonna figure this out. Maybe we can make an arrangement, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna condemn you from that. What I'm talking about when I say I gotta fix a mistake is that you chose not to communicate with me. And if this topic is about the importance of communication, you failed 101 because you spit out things I never even said. What I said was that I don't want to be with someone who feels like they don't need to consult counsel. Because if you're trying to be a leader, that's what real leadership is. You listen and you seek counsel. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be the final decision maker at the end of the day, but that's why you get their opinion. This is why I get more frustrated when I ask somebody, if I ask something like, you know, what do you think? Oh, whatever you want to do. But then if I don't ask you, why you ain't ask me? Like, I'm not playing these mind games. Like, you either want me to get your opinion because that's I respect you in that way, or you don't. And you can't say that you want to be a leader and you da-da-da-da-da and all this other stuff, but you ain't even listening to what the person's saying. You're reacting,
right. and also on
it's like reactive, and I'm a number one culprit of reactive responses. But my reaction is usually like when Cherie responded earlier and said, "But that's not true," because you made a statement saying, "Oh well, well, if you like, that's like you cooking and me saying, well, you do that all the time. Sure, like, but you do say that all the time. So you don't know when to be quiet. No.
Mm-hmm.
But you just contradicted yourself. That's why she interjected. Now, if you never contradicted yourself, then she wouldn't have to interject. And that's where y'all be missing the piece, because y'all be saying stuff, and I'm just be like, hold on, that's not even true though.
Let's not go with this
before the
semantics,
conversation. No, it is going to be semantics. See, that's
and I'm gonna tell you why
semantics when you got called out.
No. I'm gonna tell you why semantics, because if she's saying that I said that before, right? That really has nothing to do with the point. The point is, if that said,
but it did in that moment.
What I'm saying. No. Hear me out, because again, you definitely can talk. We know that. That's why you got two ears. That's something profound. You got two ears and one mouth. He would have gave you 2 mouths and 1 ear if he wanted you to talk that much. So hear me out. What I'm saying is that when she said, hey, you said that before, right? That didn't take anything away from what I was trying to say. You just interrupted me for no reason, because I'm saying whoever has said, oh, if you cooking a cleaner or whatever, that's
you use that
your
as an example, but go ahead.
Right, but
you did.
Listen, that's cool.
So let's call it what it is.
But that's cool. But what I'm saying is, whoever said that, you out of line, because why are we taking that off the table? We know what we're supposed to do. We're talking about acknowledging the stuff that we're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
when the math ain't math.
No, because sometimes you can't. Again, like, if you're going to speak in general, speak in general. You use us as an example. So I'm like, but that's not true, because you did say that before. But you're going to feel some type of way and feel like, oh, that was unnecessary. But that is the truth.
Yeah, it would have been unnecessary if I said it.
But it would have been unnecessary if you were general. You were
wrong.
using yourself as an example.
No,
Just say that.
So that's what I'm saying.
Say my bad. That's it.
No. But this is what I'm saying. If I did say that, whoever said it, you was born out of pocket. That's all I'm saying.
You said it, bro.
That was the whole point. There was no need to interrupt it. If I said it, then I was wrong for it. There's no need to interrupt that.
I can't, this ain't, it just really.
That made me just taking everything off the table. That makes no sense.
No, it's not. No. Now, if you would have said, listen, earlier when I made my statement, I should have been general, but I did use it as an example. And I understand why she responded. But the way you came at her, I mean, I know I'm not in the other side of the phone, but this is why women react, because you always got somebody trying to quiet us. Always got somebody trying to quiet us. Always. And so the thing is this,
we don't let you talk yourself into a hole.
It's not a no. I'm saying you always you'd have not. First of all, I ain't talk myself into nobody's hole.
Yes, you did, because when we were talking a couple weeks ago, you going over this.
When I was speaking facts, semantics means somebody don't want to hear details. Meaning details you don't want to hear overshare. I mean, that's part of communication. And when you miss the details of something, that's how you get to start talking out your behind. That's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody say one thing, oh, that's semantics. No. It's called details for a reason, because you missed the main important piece. Mm-hmm. It went right over your head.
No, sometimes it's unnecessary. That's what went over your head.
But that's the problem. If it was unnecessary, no one would be solving crime.
Or irrelevant.
No one would be. No, it's not irrelevant. No one would be. You know why in the hospital they get how 100 people ask you your health background? Because somebody gonna pull out something that the last person didn't figure out. Just from that one thing you told me. So it's not semantics. So and sometimes. What it means is that if you talk to 10 people, right, and they ask you your history, your health history, as to why you're in the hospital, and all 10 people, you get to the 10th person, they ask you the same thing. You tell them everything. They're like, oh, sir, you said this and this and that. Oh, this is why this could be happening. What's wrong with the other 9 people? Why they ain't pick up on that? Because of semantics? Because they wasn't listening? That could be a matter of your life and death. And I'm being real, because I see it every day. So it's like...
This ain't that.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean? Again, y'all got to know when to pull it back. You know what I mean? Sometimes you keep going and going.
Y'all got to know when to pull it back.
It's like a marathon.
Listen to ears on.
You know what I mean?
Again, how many ears?
Chloe, how many ears do we have?
The importance of communication in this relationship, that should be in life. Because, first of all, you gotta listen, and even if you don't want to hear anything, and then that's also, fine. Don't sit here.
Like when Jabray was like, I don't want to be the person that has to be fixing stuff, and it's not necessarily that she don't want to be fixing it, but it's like, okay, if you would have came to me and we would have had a conversation, I probably could have helped you out, and we wouldn't have to be trying to get out of this hole. You know what I mean? And that'd be the issue too. Like, it's like, y'all just feel like y'all have everything under control, and you don't, because we don't have everything under control. And it's not personal towards anyone. Women don't have everything under control, and men definitely don't have everything under control. And that's the issue with the communication thing, because people in general feel like they have everything under control, and all of these titles and roles. Oh, because I'm the man of the house, or I'm the woman, or I'm this and I'm that. Like, when you making decisions and you're in a relationship with somebody, it's nothing wrong with taking a step back and listening and learning. You never know. Like, you never know how much you can learn from the person that you're with if you communicate on a consistent basis with them. Like, they can really give you a better outlook on certain situations.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you keep walking around with this ego, feeling like you don't have to communicate everything, and I'm not saying it has to be every little thing. Like, we have to be realistic here. We cannot, well, I don't gotta, and I have the final. Stop. Because at the end of the day, you might be the finances, but you might really need me because of my credit. So for real, who got the heads up? Me or you? Because sometimes money don't always talk. You know what I'm saying? They want more than money. So it's like, we have to be realistic with each other. No, we lead together sometimes. It happens. And that's with us. We have to have that understanding. And some people don't understand it. That the whole roles of the man and the woman and all it, like, sometimes, like, that shit really gets in the way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, the only role should really be, what works out for your household. So I definitely agree that, the main rule should be whatever works for your household and just who y'all are as a couple. And one of the things I want to really say is that, a lot of people got to realize that, and this is the thing with women sometimes, like, communication is not all verbal. You know what I mean? So sometimes if your man is not verbally communicating to you, it's not an offensive thing towards you. It's not that he's trying to be egotistical. It's not any negative things. It's not always that. You know what I mean? Communication is not just verbal. And that's why I said over communication, because sometimes y'all talk too much. Sometimes it might just be a gesture. It might just be, an emotional connection. It may be something that you do, physically, that can express something. It may, these type of things. And so what I say I aspire for our relationship to go to is to a point where I don't have to say every little thing. We can be on a higher level. Like, and I ain't trying to get too deep, but it was a time that, we had more of a telepathic, communication, form of communication. We got away from that. I ain't gonna get all deep into it, but ultimately, in our higher self, it's less of this, and it's more of the connection with the eye, me visually paying attention to your body language, and us moving from there. So women, don't think that, because your man don't feel like talking, he doesn't want to communicate with you. He does want to communicate with you, but not always verbally. Y'all is running niggas away because you're talking too much. I'm telling you. And guess what?
Just as you feel as your opinionated, women doing that, men doing the same thing.
But you cut me off. I'm talking about men that I know, and I'm a man. Yes, is a such thing as nagging. And yes, I, as a man, get frustrated with too much talking all the time. Sometimes I get in the house, I tell the kids, like, no questions. Ooh, let me get myself together. Now, we're in a little bit, but let me debrief. I don't even want to answer nothing right now. You know what I mean? Don't stop looking at what is in my makeup genetically. You know what I mean? What is in my makeup to my fiber? What was ordained to me? Stop looking at that like that's something negative. Like, if men don't always like to talk, that doesn't mean men are being egotistical and this, that, and the third. No, it's just how we made up sometimes. Just like, guess what? Sometimes how y'all made up is on a verbal tip. So cool. But I'm letting you know, all right, how can we balance that out? How can we manage that? Because that can be an issue with our communication, how we want to be communicated to. So sometimes you might want me to give you some feedback. So let's just say, all right, cool. Well, we need to have our over dinner or whatever, we're going to have our communication session. You tell me what you did today, I'll tell you what I did today. You know what I mean? And now I know, like, all right, cool. I had my little time where I come in, I debrief from whatever was going on outside. You know what I mean? I get my little quiet space, whatever. Nobody really ask me questions. But when we go to this table, this is the time where we open up a little bit more. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what effective communication is about. Is, for one, we got to communicate on how we're going to communicate. Y'all motherfuckers just think just this right here is communication. It's more than that. It's more than that. So we have to actually sit down and figure out what's our best form of communication, how we can be the most effective. Because just because I'm not talking to you, it doesn't mean we're not have the same intentions, and we can't be on the same vibe. That's my
Yeah, but anyway. No,
Go
I'm
ahead,
not.
talk to me.
I
I
ain't gonna
mean,
say nothing what you just said, because again, it's so much bigger than everything. Where, again, we can feel like men are nagging, men are being annoying, men are being a whole lot of things, but it's like women get called all these different names and everything else like that, and y'all don't be understanding where that come from. Now, if you had a person that communicates with you on a consistent basis, on a regular basis with life, we wouldn't feel like we are pulling teeth when we talking to you or asking you questions. When you have a clear understanding on what's going on with that person, you'll see the signs to know, like, oh, okay, let me give him a moment. Let him get his time. Let him get himself together first, and then, you know what I mean, I'll bug him in a little bit. That's not what's going on. You not speaking and you're not communicating on a consistent basis as you should, and then you get mad when somebody is asking you something because it's not the right time for you. Like, so
like, what up,
when will it ever be the right time, especially if you're not sharing?
Well, see, that's a part of us, and this is a part of
What does that have to do? That, Jamal,
because
you
I just
spoke
said,
you.
I'm gonna tell you.
No, I listen. Do you?
Okay, so listen. This is what I'm saying. All I said merely was that we have to communicate on what's the best way to communicate. So, like you said, you know what I mean? You deserve to have that talk, that feedback that you want. You know what I mean? You deserve that. And in whatever time we sit down and we really work on that, because as we're talking, I'm thinking like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know if we had a conversation about when is a good time to have a conversation. No. And we may have at times, and we might have to revisit it. You know what I mean? I feel like we may have, but we might have to revisit it. So I'm not even on some what women don't do, what men don't do at this point, because we are wired differently. Like, and it doesn't make how you do things completely different from how we do things. It don't make you wrong. That's how you was wired, from a higher being. That's how you're supposed to be. So what our job is to figure out how we're going to coexist the proper way. You know what I mean? And that's on a relationship to relationship basis. Everybody's situation is different. So we are going to have to sit down and revisit and say, yo, what is the best time for us to get our, like, to get in a knee-deep, conversation about certain things? Because you deserve to get that. You crave that, and you're wired to crave it. So I need to get that to you, because sometimes, here's a twist. We don't think certain things that y'all do is important, but we don't know why the higher power made y'all like that. He made y'all like that for a purpose, for a reason. And if we allow y'all to be who y'all are, and we are allowed to be who we are, we're going to get the best out of each other. You know what I'm saying? So some shit, like I said, even with the decision making, that's why I said with certain decisions, you rock out, my nigga, because I know you're going to make the best decision when it comes to us, regardless. I don't give a fuck what it is. And that's how we have to look at some of the stuff that's going on between us. It's not really an issue. It's just, how can we coexist better? Because there's a purpose. It's a reason why you continue to ask questions about certain things. That could be to make us better as men too. And we look at it as nagging. And I'm just being honest. Because it is times where you quote unquote nag me, but that shit was right on point. because it woke me up. It was like that snooze button, that alarm was like, oh, let me get on top of this. Even if it's like just to shut her up per se, but on some real shit, on quite a few occasions, you quote unquote nag me, which it ain't nagging because you wired to do this, and you motivated me to do something that I might have been dragging my feet on. So all I'm saying now is, in terms of communication, we have to communicate on how to communicate.
Yeah, and I just answered that for them.
What's the
kept
best
saying,
way for us
only
to
the men
communicate?
on here are saying that I'm not listening, and I'm definitely listening. And if I'm being, hold up,
We ain't
let me
worry about
finish.
that.
Hold up, because I'm definitely listening.
Go ahead,
But what
go ahead,
I'm saying is the issue on is not that we need to know how, when is a time, or how to communicate. If we communicate it on a consistent basis with life shit, when it comes a time that a man needs to take a step back and have that breather, their spouse will be able to recognize that, because y'all communicate enough to understand that this man needs his time. He need to get his thoughts together. He looked like he had a long day. I might even had a long day. I don't really want to talk about what's really on my mind right now. I'm going to give it a minute. And I can give you a prime example of a communication situation with you, your mom. It doesn't get that communication with that is common sense at this point. When certain times of the year,
you said that what I hear you.
When certain times of the year and certain days, I give you your space. Why? Because we have communicated that, you know, this is how you feel, whatever. And I respect it at the end of the day. But if you're not communicating on a consistent basis about certain shit, we're not mind readers. So if you're not sharing enough on a day-to-day, it gets difficult for women to feel like, okay, well, is this a good time or is not a good time? It's, you know what I mean? What's going on? Like, you know, especially if you have the same face or the same energy every day.
But this is why people say you're not listening, because what I said was, you just said, you know, sometimes you don't know when to you know, have those conversations. You know, like,
I'm
it's a
talking
good time
about
or not.
general conversation.
But what
It
I
could
said,
be anything. I could just have a lot on my mind. But what
right.
I'm saying, when certain things is not communicated on a consistent basis, when somebody communicates with you on a regular.
No, hold on. You said what you had to say. You said what you had to say. Be back to 2 ears. All I'm saying, and this is another thing, in terms of effective communication, like on some real stuff, I'm agreeing with you, and you're being combative.
Oh wait, I think Mo.
That shit is like,
Mo is
like
agreeing
niggas,
with the
like that's a problem.
but just make sure it's effective.
I don't see nobody that don't see just a minute ago how I was really just trying to have a moment where we can both have, you know what I mean, be relieved of any type of guilt in this situation, because it really ain't. I'm sitting up here trying to make peace with the situation, not on no bullshit, on some real shit, like on an enlightening moment. And the next thing you came after that was being combative. Like, that's a problem. So when people don't want to communicate with you, it's because you're not effective with how to communicate back. You didn't even listen enough to recognize, I'm telling you, I'm in your face, and I'm telling you, I'm ultimately saying, hey, we need to work on some things. I'm not putting no responsibility on you.
His question is,
I'm not
my
putting no guilt
question,
on
this
you. I'm
is
saying
wife.
we need to
Hold
take
up.
it to
I'm
the.
reading this
Hold
comment.
up. Forget that question. No. That can wait. Hold up. No. That can wait. Listen, what I'm saying to you, we need to address this. What's up
I'm
with
not being
the
combative. I'm
combativeness
saying
if
to
somebody's
you,
trying to make
just
amends?
like what you just said about we need to work on being able to learn how to communicate, know when to communicate. And I said, if the person is consistently communicating with the other person, the people in a relationship, if you're communicating with your spouse on a consistent basis, when there becomes a time where you come in the house and you just looking like, I don't want to be bothered, it will be clear that that's what that situation is. So if I have a lot on my mind, or I want to talk about something, instead of trying to come at you and feeling like I'm being a nag in that moment, I'm going to say to myself, like, let me just give him a moment, because it looks like, you know what I'm saying, like he just need a moment. But if you're not communicating with each other on a regular basis, it's hard to be able to recognize.
So let me say this, because you stole the show again. I wasn't done, but it's cool. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, we got to start to try to get a resolution. I don't want to keep on. And this is why the verbal communication gets to be, this is where it gets to be a nag. Because when somebody's trying to agree with you so we can move forward,
You just asked
you want
me
to
why
keep
I was
on,
listening.
like, hear me. No, listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. When somebody's trying to move forward and you're still discussing past, the past, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, okay, we get it. I see where your issues are. You made it clear. You hear what my issues were. I made it clear. So what can we do to move forward? See, for me in life, I don't focus on, the problem per se. I focus on the solution to the problem. I put more energy into how can I make this right, as opposed to putting the energy into why it's wrong. That's just, I think that's a more productive mindset. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on why is this not right? Why is this not right? Whoa, why? I'm mad it's wrong. I have to put my energy on, okay, what
The
is the
solution to
solution
the
to this
problem will
problem?
be
And that's
communicating on a consistent basis so a person can
it's
have an
listening.
understanding.
Listening. Hear me out. It's listening. It's listening. Because here you go again, you're saying the same thing over and over again. I heard that part. We're clear on that. At this point, that's the past. You know what I mean? When you said consistent communication, what I said before that, which was agreeing with you, was listen. Let's talk about when are good times to communicate. Should we communicate while we're in bed before we lay down? Should we communicate in the morning when we wake up? Should we communicate right after we get off of work? You know what I mean? Over dinner or whatever. And then now we can build a habit. Now we on the same page. We know. All right, nigga, you had your chill time. Now, I mean, you came in the house. You propped your feet up for a little bit. Now we decided, we're going to talk over dinner. All right, so we just going to have a discussion. Boom, boom. So that's what I was saying. You talking about that's what can make it consistent, but first we got to figure out when is the right time. So you won't feel like, well, maybe this ain't the right time to talk to them, because, sometimes you can read that, but sometimes you might not be able to. So I'm saying, we know we need to communicate more. Now, when are good times for us to communicate? Because sometimes there are bad times to communicate. And to the sister that said, why do we call it nagging? Nagging is a thing. Sometimes it is nagging. It goes to the point of nagging, yes. And sometimes, you know what I mean? And so it's in the dictionary. You know what I mean? There is a place for that. But all I'm saying is, how do we move forward in terms of even this conversation? You know what I mean? We have to focus on effective communication, because niggas talk all day. We see it. Yeah, nigga, bitch, fuck, pussy, you ain't shit, your dad ain't shit. We know how to talk. But how can we be effective? How can we know when somebody's agreeing with us
Yeah,
and trying
sometimes
to
you
move
can't
forward
schedule communication.
and grow?
Exactly. And you telling somebody's not
You know what I
listening.
mean?
I'm definitely listening.
But no. And I get all that. We absolutely get. Sometimes we can't schedule communication. This is that negative mindset that keeps us going backwards. We're looking for another loophole. Well, you know what? We ain't always gonna be able to schedule communication. We know that, cuz.
Right?
We know that. Like, let's grow up, really. And don't even respond enough, and that's that childish. We know that.
Why
We're
can't you
talking
schedule?
about,
Shut up, Joe.
about this. What can we do? What can we do to grow? Because y'all know what's holding us back. You're a genius on what's holding us back. But do you have the answer to how can we grow?
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. Coexist. And like I said, that's for each individual household. But I just want to coexist within my household, and I'm sure y'all do as well. These are conversations that y'all should be taking back to your loved ones, or even if you just dating, have that in your mind, like, oh, all right, yeah, I really am going to have to start thinking about effective ways of communication. Because sometimes women, y'all could be communicating all day, but be negative. And guys too. I hate to keep doing this female male thing, but it's cool.
Stop doing
No, it's cool. I know. No, it's cool. But what I'm saying is, most of the stuff goes both ways, so it don't even matter. But how can we start communicating more effective? I don't even like talking to my children, you know what I'm saying, in a negative way, because I was raised different. I was raised with parents, you know what I mean, that spoke life into me, that spoke, you know what I mean, greatness. So I know how important positive communication can be and how that can really groom somebody in a positive way. And I have examples of that from people that I've mentored. You know what I mean? So I think this is the conversation that needs to be had within all of our households, because we all come from some sort of miscommunication or bad communication. You know what I mean? We didn't always have parents that was married. You know what I mean? This and the third. So with this generation, we're going to have to like develop something that was better than whatever we knew back then. And the communication, it definitely needs to be better.
But at the same time,
You know what I mean?
you know, consistency is key. So if you feeling like you have the time, you have to schedule when to communicate, and when you have to do all that, no, hold up, Jamal.
Y'all going back to
talk.
that.
You talking about a person that like to talk? You need to let me talk. I didn't talk over you. I was quiet. Now, I'm saying to you that consistency is how things get to be better. When you're consistently doing something with somebody, if you're communicating on a consistent basis, like I said, I never was being negative. I said being more consistent with communicating. So when there becomes a time when you'll be able to recognize that the person needs a moment, and it's not the time to either express what's on your mind in that moment, you will know that because what y'all have with your communication is consistent. It's consistent. So you'll see the signs. You'll be able to understand where your spouse is at in that moment mentally, physically, emotionally. You'll be able to see that. You might just sit down and give your spouse a hug or lay on them just to make them feel comfortable, because y'all so entwined with each other, you know what I'm saying, that where you might have had a lot on your mind and you might just want to spill it all on them at that moment. You're gonna be like, no, I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna give them a minute, because it's consistently, like, it's the consistency of communication. You know, you have it on a regular basis, so it's like you ain't gonna do it in that moment because you see the sign, you understand. That's where the consistency come in at with communicating.
I mean, I agree with the consistency of communication. I also, you know what I mean, have to reiterate that sometimes just because the communication isn't verbal, it doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, he isn't consistently showing you, you know what I mean, or communicating with you. Sometimes he is communicating with you through other ways that's not verbal. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? And then, you know, getting to know, like, okay, like you said, we really saying the same thing to a certain degree at this point. I think at this point we kind of like coming to, you know, more of an understanding. You know what I mean? And communication is vital. You know what I'm saying? We're not taking nothing away from that. But then I think we need to recognize what, like, the different forms of communication, and like what communication works best for our partners, because, you know, just like they got love language, I'm sure it's like a you know what I mean, it's like a communication, you know what I'm saying, like you got love language, so it's like probably like a communication language, like which way does your partner communicate best, or what motivates them, you know, through communication, because ultimately we want to motivate each other because we're a team, so we want to be on the same page. You know, if you're having a bad day, I want to cheer you up. So for you, it might not be, you know, telling you, hey, everything is going to be all right tomorrow. For you, it might be, I mean, I might bake a little cupcake or something and put the cupcake on a candle or whatever like that. I don't know. So learning your partner, you know what I mean, bonding with your partner. Again, that's not always verbal. Bonding, you know, getting to know each other, you know, more often, getting in each other's space, you know, spending time, you know, and getting to know each other. If you have to communicate it more, communicate it, but whatever way you can to get to know your partner so you can be the best mate that you can be. And at times, you know, you got to give them what they need. You know what I mean? They might need a conversation. They might need silence. Like you said, Sheree, I'm agreeing with you, you know. But these things definitely come from getting to know, you know, your partner, because it's like my man said right here,
Yeah, there
verbal
is
and
no such
nonverbal.
thing as
You know what I mean?
nonverbal, but again, you have to build to have nonverbal.
That
That
don't
come
come. Yeah,
with time.
that come with time. Cause
Nonverbal doesn't just happen. You
love
have to
language
build
is
your
about a.
relationship to get to the point where somebody can be a nonverbal communicator with you and you understand. You have to build that. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
happen right away. So like I said, being consistent with communicating, you
Yeah, I
have
agree
to
with
be
that.
consistently communicating with the person that you're with to a point where get to the point where everybody is comfortable with the nonverbal sometimes. You can't be
Cause that's
nonverbal
what love
in
language is. That's
general
what
in
love
your
languages
relationship
are.
and
That's
then
what they
expect
are.
somebody to understand when it's time to speak and when it's time to not speak.
Say that
Cause
one more
that's gonna
time.
make you feel.
Say that one more
She
time.
said. She said you gotta understand when it. That's what nonverbal is. Cause that's how you pick up when it's time to speak and when it's time not to speak. But the thing is, like, you can. You also like you walking on eggshells. Like, I don't know if I should say something. 'Cause I don't know. He always got the same
Mm-hmm.
mood, and last time I tried to talk to him, he ain't like it ain't go right. So you also don't want your spouse to feel like they gotta walk on eggshells. That's why I think Cherie's saying consistent. When you have consistent, all that
Mm-hmm.
other stuff comes naturally. It comes naturally, and so it like I do think it's weird to try and schedule times to talk. It's almost like why, like, I mean, unless it's something where we like, okay, once a month we're going to talk about the finances, stuff like that. But when you're talking about something that's on your mind and
Mm-hmm.
is weighing heavy on you and stuff like that, you don't want to feel like you got to be
Mm-hmm.
put on somebody's agenda when I'm supposed to be at the top of the list.
Well, I'm telling you, you gotta wait till 9:20 to say. My fault,
Yeah,
y'all.
and I mean, and
But I mean,
we have, as me and Jamal, we have experienced things like that, and we have even talked about that earlier on in our relationship. Like, I felt like I couldn't tell you certain things after a while because we will be getting into an argument, and I would be like, yeah, see, this is why I can't, like, I can't. So it's just like, again, it's really all about consistency with building your relationship with your spouse. So it's like, if you saying that, well, sometimes I just don't want to say nothing, or I don't want to talk about something within that moment, like, that just doesn't happen overnight. And we've been in that like, I feel like early on in our marriage, we couldn't barely say anything to each other without getting into an argument. Like, we're just now getting better now with the communicating, and it's still a little shaky at times, but you know what I'm saying? Again, like, you learn that, you build with that. Like, it just doesn't happen overnight. Like, you have to be able to, because at the end of the day, not only are we married, we are friends. And that be the issue too. If I can't come to my friend and, I call my girlfriends, I can call them, girl, and we talk and talk and talk. Sometimes I want that same energy with you. It's not that, I'm being a nag or whatever the situation is, because sometimes I might call my girlfriends and vent and be having a whole lot to say. And they, I can cry my eyeballs out. I can say all what I need to say, and they're going to hear me out. They ain't going to be like, girl, I
All
don't
right,
want to
that's
hear
cool.
that shit,
Just
this
keep
and
that
that, blah,
same
blah,
energy
blah.
for
Like,
football
they going to
season.
listen to what I got to say.
Keep that. Listen, no. I got you. I'm with you. You know what I mean? You can spill the tea and all that. Just keep the same energy during
You don't even
football
watch
season.
football no more.
You know what
Shut
I
up.
mean? Crap.
No, you're not.
I'm on it this year,
Anyway.
and I'm playing fantasy football. Hey, Jomo, I got a fantasy league, man. If you want
Okay,
to join that
hello.
shit,
okay, that's
man.
not what
Right.
this is for. Okay, sorry, y'all
All
can
right, my
call
fault,
each
my
other
fault.
later.
No.
Okay, bro.
No, we
No,
been
I'm
friends.
saying to
No
you
No, we're
friends.
not
that,
dating no more.
again, like,
Bye.
we had issues with that, and our friendship should have been way better, and we wouldn't have had a lot of issues
I agree.
if we were
I
better
agree
with
with that.
communicating with each other. Because if I can't come to you again and vent to you like I would vent to my friends, even though they may not want to hear my shit neither, but I don't have to worry about them giving me that energy like I'm being a nag. And they gonna check me if I'm not, doing what I'm supposed to do. But guess what? We still gonna have that conversation. They gonna check me, and then we gonna laugh and move on to the next topic. I'm not gonna feel no type of way. But sometimes with men in general, like, you really make a woman feel like I don't got nothing to say.
I
Like
don't say
Jabray
nothing.
said,
I won't
walking
say
on
shit.
eggshells, and you should not feel like that in a marriage. You shouldn't.
Listen, I agree with that, but I will say this: in all balance, you know what I mean? Like, I say this. How can I put this?
Shit, we all
So,
say things we don't want to hear.
hmm, no, I ain't
No, I'm
worried
talking
about
about,
that.
I'm just
You know what
saying,
I'm saying?
friends,
Tuned in, tuned in.
moms, we all, as a
What?
whole, the people that we talk to in general, sometimes a lot of people say things that we don't want to hear or whatever, but sometimes they just need that listening ear. And if you got people that consistently, has that type of relationship with you that you can talk to and listen to, and they listen to you, you're going to always go to them about everything. And it's not nothing wrong with it.
No, I got you. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, but this is what I was gonna say too. Like, we can't always, and this is back to the communication, John. Like, this is back to like learning what type of communication your mate was even raised on. Because, like, for some guys, let's just say they grew up in a household. Let's just say they had all sisters. You know what I mean? When it comes down to a communication, if you was to come to them and you might tell them about certain things, it might be stuff that's not, you know, that might be blowing your dad and girlfriend or whatever like that. He might respond to it
Gilmo,
differently
yeah.
if he was raised
Bisexual.
in a household. If he was raised in a household, you know, differently. So it's just like, and it don't mean it don't like being negative towards his person, or you know what I mean. It might be how he was raised, how he was raised to communicate. So some stuff we can't take personal either. You know what I mean? But again, over time, you learn your mate. Your mate will learn the things that you like and will adapt to that. You know what I mean? But
What's up?
Jomo,
What's
what
up?
up,
What's
brother?
up, man?
Talk to me.
Hey, look, I just wanted to,
What's
I just
happening?
wanted to disagree with you, Cherie, real quick, with with the, that's why you have your friends, and so you can go to your friends with that stuff. Your man don't always want to hear that stuff. That ain't what we here for. Like some female conversations are for female conversation ears.
But I'm
Like
not
that's for
talking
you.
about female conversations, but go ahead.
You said when you go to
You
your
talk about my
friends.
problems.
No, I was saying like having
About her
if
marital
I'm talking
problems.
about,
That's
I
what she
go to
said.
my friends with like my marriage. Like I'll go to them and
Right.
I'll have a conversation. Hold up. I'll have a conversation with them and they'll even tell me like, now Cherie, they let me vent, but they be
Yeah.
like, that wasn't cool, whatever. But I can take that constructive criticism from my friend. But it's like if I'm coming to my spouse about my feelings on what's going on with me and him, it's like I gotta walk on eggshells and know when to say, how to say it, because it's gonna go from one next level to the next. Like I'm like, all right, well, fuck it then. You know what I'm saying? Like, forget it. Now we in the
But
argument, we going back and forth, we
I,
doing all this extra stuff. It's like if you take the time to listen to each other, you know what I'm saying, and you'll be able
but
to
that's
take the constructive criticism from your spouse more often, because a lot of men feel like women can't take constructive criticism, but that's not
that's
true.
true. That's
And
very
that's
true.
not a fact. I feel like
It's
they're
delivery.
not
It's
listening.
delivery.
You're not
But see, that's
listening
what
to
I'm
your
saying. But
spouse.
listen, so listen, that's what I'm saying. Men deliver messages differently. So you could take it from your friends because they're giving it to you lightly. And remember, they only hearing your side.
Nah,
So
no,
you're talking
nah, not
to.
mine,
No,
not
not my
mine.
friends.
I sometimes I'll be
So,
like,
They
damn,
be
so,
I'll
like,
call
so
you
if
back.
you
I'll
could
be like,
take that from your
damn,
friends, then you can't say it's the
I'll
delivery
call you
from a
back. I'll
man.
call you back. I'll be ready to hang up with them.
no, I'm saying the delivery from a man,
Yeah,
like,
give me an
okay,
example.
like for example, Cherie interjected. For example, Cherie interjected when Maul
I
contradicted
missed that
himself. See,
conversation
that's when you
because
need
I
to
was
keep your
lost when
mouth,
y'all was
keep your
talking
mouth
about that.
shut. No, no, no. No, I'm saying that was the part earlier when, I brought something back and he said something and Cherie was like, but you say it all the time, because he was
Okay.
using them as an example. And he was like, see, that's why you need to know how to keep your mouth shut. First of all, that's not a way. You
and
think
nobody
like when
said
you say,
like,
oh,
hold up.
yes, you did. Everybody
Listen,
respond, heard it,
on
bro.
everything I love. Hold
Everybody
on,
See
hold
what
up.
I'm
said it,
saying?
I
Hold on,
heard
hold
it.
on, hold on, hold on. No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
getting that
Listen,
for everybody
on
who heard it.
everything I love, I promise you. Listen, I will
Yes, you
apologize
did.
right now. Hey,
You
Cherie, I
did, though.
apologize to you right now. If if you thought I said that's why you need to stop talking. On that type of time. Maybe I was saying about the two ears, one mouth thing. I don't know, but my whole thing was
That was after
So
that.
did you say
but
that,
yeah,
Cherie?
what I
Who
was
you
alluding
think?
to was the fact that you
I don't think he
basically
said.
it was unnecessary to say anything to cut me off at that time because ultimately, like whoever would have said what I just, because I said, I'm like, damn, if I was to say, XYZ, then I would be wrong. And she said, you do say it. Okay, but that means I will be wrong. So there's no need to cut me off right there. That's what I was
That's
saying.
not
There
what
wasn't
you
no
said though.
contradiction.
Okay.
Like you're cutting me
No, no,
off
no.
to agree with
I
something I
know.
said.
No. But that's not how it went. In your head, that's how it
Wait, can
played
we
out,
hear?
but that's not actually how it
Can
played
I
So
hear
out.
how did it play
Sharice's
out in
side of
your
what
head?
happened? Because I hear you're third party somebody.
So
Let
how
me
did it
hear
play
what
out in your
Sharice.
head?
What happened, Sharice?
Because it's playing out in everybody's head.
No, so what happened was Jamal was talking, right? And then he gave an example of us. He used us in the example, and he stated
Okay.
that what if I said to you, well, you a wife, so all you supposed to do is cook and clean in the house. And I
Right.
said, you have said that. And he
Okay.
basically was like, no, see, that's the negativity, and he just went left. Like
Okay.
that was just he
Nah,
gave a bad
nah.
example because we have experienced that before.
Right, but if we did experience it, then that means I was out of pocket. So there's no need for you to even say
That
that.
was just a bad
You know what I'm
example.
saying? Like
Well,
that,
who was
whoever
going to know
said
that?
that,
Who's
it was
going to
like,
call
all right,
that
cool,
out?
you
Because
out
you
of
wasn't
pocket.
going to
We
recognize
say
it.
stuff that's out
Right.
of
Sound like
pocket
y'all
all the
settled
time.
that.
Okay, you know what I
But
mean?
hold on,
But
Jamal. If she didn't say nothing, would you have called? Would you have picked up that you was wrong on that,
how was I wrong
or
with
you
it?
would have just kept talking? Because she, I'm saying is your example. Because your example was you and Cherie, and it's almost like you was making the
Right.
example as if you don't say
Mm-hmm.
it. That's how you presented it.
No, I
So
was no. See,
no,
that's
I'm
what
saying is
happened in
that's
your
how it was
mind.
presented.
Okay.
In
No,
your
that's
Okay.
not what
mind,
happened on everybody's mind
no,
on this
no.
live.
I ain't worried about everybody. I'm telling you from the sender. I'm the sender. You're the receiver.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
so
you
receive
you
this.
said
Well,
this
I
and
wasn't
said if
saying it as if to say if I never said it. I was saying that to say if I was to say that I would be wrong. So you're
That's
done.
not what he
no, you
said,
didn't
Okay,
but
say
it's
that.
okay.
over. You're
But that's
done.
not
He
what you
said that's
said
what he.
though.
But you
That's
did
how he
But
meant
I'm
something.
it. That's what
saying,
he's
But you did.
saying. He
Yeah,
put it.
but that's after the
but
fact,
that's what I'm
though.
He
Yeah,
saying.
took
I'm
it the
you
wrong
took it
way.
how
Is
you
what he's
wanted to
saying.
take it.
And
later you
You
no
took it how you
no
wanted to
okay.
take it.
All right.
That's how you
That's
wanted
what
to
I'm
take
saying.
it.
We all about
right.
we talking about communication. A lot
Yeah.
of times you feel like it's miscommunication because one, either the way you presented something wasn't actually how it was received, which is oftentimes what happens on
Men and
both
women.
parties, men and
Yep.
women. And it's also how you react, like you saying, see, that's when you didn't know how to keep your mouth shut. That right there is a defensatory response. You
Defensatory.
want me to be defensive on that. You
What
don't
does
want
that
me to be
mean?
like, you don't want me to be meek and be like, okay, maybe
But
I
that
should
still
shut
doesn't mean
up.
that you
No,
took
I'm
it
like,
wrong,
who the
though.
fuck you talking to,
It
bro?
don't mean that you didn't take it wrong.
Sorry.
It means that here you go again. You just interrupted me.
No, what
Okay,
I'm
but
saying, I'm trying to give you an example right
they thought
now.
they had
You're
a
not
diamond. I'm
listening.
like, damn, is that what y'all was talking about? No, that wasn't nothing. Sorry. Sorry, beloved. It's not that.
But all
I
I
mean,
feel is like all I
You're
feel is
not.
like you got your
It's
friends for a
okay.
reason.
It's
Like I
okay.
don't really feel like I'm not married, so I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel like you're gonna be able to talk to your man like you talk to your friends, and your man can't talk to you like he talks to his friends.
But I don't necessarily agree with that because it's a lot of women
Mm.
out here who have relationships and men who have relationships with their wife or their girl or whatever, and they really be talking about any and everything. That's why they feel comfortable with going to the strip clubs with them, looking over to their spouse and be like, "Yo, her ass is fat," this and that, blah blah blah, because they build that type of relationship. So I
I
don't
don't agree
agree
with
with
them.
that.
I don't
Huh?
feel like all the people are being honest though.
You
Like
said
when
what?
with the examples that you use, the going to the strip club and looking at fat asses, because you really don't know what we really thinking when we do stuff like that. Men don't really just look and all that. Like men, like if you say like a woman that's down for threesomes and all that type stuff, maybe you know what I mean she might understand if that's what he being open about. But I ain't trying on no strip club with my girl. What we going to the strip club together for?
No, I mean that I agree with that, but what I'm saying to you is that it is people who have relationships like that who talk to their
Yeah,
spouses, who they with about any and everything, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. Like I
I
can
think
have
it's
the
but
conversations I have with my friends. I definitely can have the conversation with my spouse, but because of
okay.
the type of person that he is like we from past previous situations, like
Yeah.
I can't because I can't
So
if I
wait,
can't
wait.
come to
So can you or can't
what
you?
are you
Because you just
talking
said you
about?
can. Now you're saying you
no,
can't.
I can to a certain
No, he
degree
said she
now, but
can.
Right.
before in the past, when I tell you every 2 seconds, because I would have so much juicy stuff to say, and when
Oh, I
I
don't
tell
want to
them
hear
we
none of
get into an
that.
argument, and I'd be
Yeah, I
like,
don't want to hear none of that.
Well, no, it don't be like that. It be like,
No,
you know,
certain stuff.
as people
Hold on,
call
hold on.
it like
I
pillow
don't want to
talk.
hear
You
The
know what I
gossip.
you know
mean?
what I mean?
They call it like pillow talk. Don't be
Certain
telling
stuff,
your
like,
husband.
because now I'm looking at you
You know,
sideways.
I
Yeah.
might
Like,
have friends
you know what I
that
mean?
say, don't say
Yeah,
nothing,
she just went out
right?
there and she sucked 2 niggas' dicks in the parking lot.
Jomo, we
You
all have friends. Jomo,
know
we
what I
all
Oh
mean?
have.
my God.
I'm supposed to just not believe
No,
birds of a feather?
Jomo.
What was you
No,
saying?
You know
because
what
we got
I mean?
girlfriends or
Are we
we
gonna
got
tell
friends like Jomo that be
certain
like, all
things
right,
is
listen,
cool.
don't
You can
tell
tell your
nobody.
girlfriends about
So
that.
in my mind, I'm like, all right, I can't tell nobody, but I can tell my spouse because he ain't gonna say who the hell he gonna tell.
I
If
get
I
you, but
tell
Yeah.
you,
but you missing
Hey,
the
I
point.
feel what you're
You're
trying to
missing the
say.
point.
If
A lot of times, hold on,
Danny's
Mom.
girl
Hold
was
on, Mom.
24,
Hold
he
on. A
like
lot of
that's
28.
times,
real. That's
a lot of
real.
times,
Like,
a lot of
I'm telling
times,
you, you know
that's
what
the
I mean?
stuff I don't want to
I
hear.
No, it don't be
But
that. No.
Nah, real rap. I'm just
Listen,
telling you from my
I have got
you
into
want a man or a
arguments
girlfriend,
with
like,
my husband over somebody else cheating on they whoever.
yeah,
Like, damn nigga, I can't even put you D on what you
right.
gonna
Because I don't want to
say.
hear that.
He don't want to be
No,
a nosy.
that's
That's
not
all
what
he
I'm
want. He
saying.
don't
That's
want to
not
be
what I'm
I ain't
nosy.
saying.
saying
See,
it
look at
like
you.
that. It's just
You tripping.
He said what?
sometimes it's over
I don't
communication.
want to be invested.
I said he
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
be
hear the
nosy. That's
gossip.
all
Why
he
are we
want. He
talking
don't want to
about
be
other
invested.
people? I don't want. That's what your friends is
No,
for.
Sometimes
no,
guys
no.
want
I
the
should be
tea.
able. I should be able to talk to you about
Sometimes
that type
guys
of
want the
stuff.
tea.
But listen, let me say this. Let me say this. In certain ways, and this is where we in the new generation, y'all. Is the new generation. At certain points, I would think that a woman would feel some type of way about her man if he always
Yeah.
wanted to
No,
gossip
that's
with
what
her.
they
I
want,
would think
Mom.
that. Like
That's what they
when we around, I don't
want.
want you always in my business.
Come
You
on
on the
now,
phone,
Jomo,
you
with the
face who that?
galaxy.
These are very
Who,
hard words.
who she was out with? Like, come on, man. Like you can't have everything.
Oh, my
You're
fault.
trying to wear too
Okay.
many hats.
That's just because I don't know what your friends tell you, but what kind of friends you hang out with. I swear, God, I wish guys stop
Yes.
saying birds of a feather flock together. Cause just cause my
Nigga,
friends
y'all made it
don't
up.
mean I condone
You
it.
know what I
It
mean?
don't mean I condone it, but
He
that ain't
got
saying
envy.
bullshit with you. That's your life. Ain't got nothing to do with me.
Y'all hate that. Y'all hate that.
No, because
Dang,
y'all
hold
say
up. So,
different
since I
birds of a
disagree, you
feather.
gonna come in my
Birds of a
Android?
feather.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just say it again.
Birds of a feather.
It's definitely birds of a feather. Yep.
It ain't
Birds.
no birds of a feather. That's old.
Definitely
Ain't
birds
no
of a
birds of
feather,
no
bro.
feather.
Birds.
Y'all corny.
That's old.
Y'all play
Lead
too
That's
on
much.
coin.
birds.
Look, shaming tactics. You
Yeah,
just
like
calling
that.
all types of names.
Because all y'all got a scallywag.
Because
That's
I
what it
feel like
is.
guys
Because all y'all got a
feel the same way.
scallywag in
Some
your
friends,
team. You know what I
right? Well,
mean?
okay, what they got to do with
Yeah, all
me?
y'all got a
I'm my own
scallywag or
person.
2
I'm
or
my
3.
own person.
That's what they
And
all
I'm
say.
my
sometimes y'all
own
be the 4th
person.
one and don't even know it.
That's what they
I'm
all
my
say.
own person.
Okay.
Believe me. It's a
Why
lot of things my
why
friends
y'all
be
want to
doing that
hang
I
with
don't
somebody?
agree with. Yeah, but the thing is, you taking it
Exactly.
personal ain't got nothing to do with
Goodness.
you. That's their life. That's the thing.
See, but
Y'all take
that's
things so personal. You convince me as a girlfriend,
No,
you
you
know
look,
what?
you
I
hurt.
don't
She
agree with
might
that.
hurt. Hey, Joe,
No,
we
I'm
got
not.
it, Joe.
I
Hey, I'm
swear they be
not
doing
hurt.
something.
Y'all do
no,
take
you
things
said, but
Look
see,
personal.
at
that's
your
where I go
eyebrows.
back
You
to.
That
don't even know
crease.
what he's
That's
talking
That
where I
about.
crease
go
You
back
don't
coat.
to.
even
You took it
know.
serious.
Men
Yeah,
and
I
women
like
are
it up
different,
now.
though.
Because
Men
he's
and
Yeah,
women
saying
are
that's
shit
up
right
different.
now.
now.
That crease
Where's
came
your
right
active
here.
listening
You was from
ears?
here. Ping, pow. I
Men and
saw
women
that.
are
You was
different,
tight.
though. So,
You
like,
was tight, baby.
yeah,
You was
like
tight, beloved.
that's how we look at it. Like, yeah, why you out here with your homegirl? What was you doing while she da 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 da? And like, if you out here, if
I
you
was
out here,
Mind
minding
my
my
business.
business.
if you hanging with a chick, if you hanging
But
at the
she
club
told
with a
me,
chick that be all the dudes'
not to tell
faces,
She's
nobody,
telling
so
me
I wanted to
no.
tell you.
I don't
That's
want to
her
hear it.
problem. They ain't got nothing to do with
Yeah.
me.
So
Well,
so
that's
you cool with me
See,
hanging
that's the
with a
thing.
bunch
Y'all
of
ain't got your
scammers
own mind. Y'all must
you
be when your
do.
or
friends jump
whatever.
off the roof, you jump off too.
So you cool? Yeah, I mean,
Let's not
like,
go to the
listen,
extreme.
hold on. When we was young, that's one thing. But on some real stuff, as you get older, like, you know what I mean? For real, that friendliness
Windows.
starts
Yep.
to. I would think that
Yep.
friendliness starts to decrease, and you start to pick up people that you're building relationships with people
Yep.
that are like-minded, that are
Yep.
going in the right direction. So whether they're married also, whether they have careers also,
Sorry.
Yep.
whether they're entrepreneurs also, whether they're trying to get their credit right also, whether they're religious also, like those type things. Not just because we just happen to
Yeah.
grow up on the same block and I just gotta be linked to you by the hip for the rest
I
of
don't
my
hang
life.
with my
Like we
drug
gotta
dealing
grow up
friends
a
no
little bit
more.
more. Like you should be
I don't
associated
hang
No,
out with
with
my drug
like-minded
dealer.
no,
people.
he
Like you
was
should.
like,
You
I
don't.
need you to get an
I
iPhone.
went,
This is what I
I
need you
went
to
too
do.
Oh
far.
no, no. This is where it's at. You need to get
You
there.
need to go into more. I think you
This
should
is
get
where it's at.
better.
You worry about green text
You be
messages
like,
and stuff.
oh
I ain't worried
no,
about about
dealing
that.
with it, bro. I think you should become a storyteller more because
Okay.
you be all over the darn board. Ain't nobody said nothing about you can have a like-minded friend, right? Who is getting their credit together. They with their man or they boyfriend or they single, whatever. They got all the stuff. They got all the things that they supposed to be as a responsible person that you approve of. And they calling you about their friends' night out. You didn't go out with them.
Hello?
You were home. You at home with your family. But she calling to tell you like, oh, you know, how was my like, how was your night? Oh, I did this and that. Oh, damn, girl.
Right.
All right.
No,
Let me.
that's
Hold on,
hold
Mom.
Let me see what she was talking about.
Go
Let
ahead,
me
go
go to the club and find out.
No,
what she was
so
talking
this is
about.
where, but this
Like,
is the point you're missing.
Crazy.
I don't. No. You ain't even let me say what I.
Listen,
Okay,
Hold
Hold
on.
on, Jomo.
You
That's
got 2
on.
ears. Hold up.
Hold up. So look, right?
yeah, that
Right.
Android got
No, that's because I'm right outside my crib near my Wi-Fi. It's kind of messed up. But listen, so
You need
the
to
whole
get
thing
Wi-Fi.
is, if you, I don't want to talk to you about what you talked about with her on the phone at the club last week. I don't want to hear that. That's all I'm saying. Keep that with your home. It could be
You
juicy
gotta
to
tell
you.
somebody.
Talk to your friends, your homegirls. What you talking about?
Nah, sometimes
Yes.
you can't.
But and there's nothing wrong with that, Jomo,
Sorry.
because sometimes they don't want to hear about the game last week. They don't want to hear about KD getting traded and shit like that. Some of that stuff y'all don't really want to hear, and that's okay. Like, stop trying to make your man your girlfriend too. If he wants to talk about certain things, cool.
That
But
wasn't
like,
the
let
point.
him be a man. If he don't want to
That
gossip
wasn't the
with you,
point.
then it's cool. It's not
That wasn't
personal.
the point,
You
though.
got girlfriends for that.
You're going
No.
totally left in the conversation.
Yeah, you
The
can use
point
one.
of the matter
Use
is
the wooden
that
one.
you can go to your friend and have a conversation, even if it's personal. You can have a conversation with your friend about whatever. Y'all going into, well, we don't want to hear certain things. I'm not talking about just that. I'm saying in general, anything. I can come to my friend and talk to them and take the criticism. I can do all, like, we can go back and forth. We can do all that. But if I can't come to you and talk to you about what's on my mind because I got to schedule an appointment to communicate. I got to know what to say, what not to say. Like,
Are you thinking it's too quiet?
it's
I
like,
mean, that's what you said, though, bro.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, if it comes to that, then cool. But you taking it, you trying to flip it on some, you know what I mean, pencil
well, that's what you
like,
said.
chill, man.
That's what it
Y'all
sound
doing
like.
this shit. Like, come on. Like, you got to talk to
No,
my
that's how
secretary
you
and
coming
shit.
off.
Like,
You
That's what
talking
you
your
said,
own
though.
stuff.
like, chill
No,
out, man. Y'all
you
ODing.
tripping.
You OD,
I'm
you
quite
trying to
sure
prove a point.
everybody heard you on
Like,
here.
come on, man.
If Mr.
Yeah.
Point had a
Man, you
picture
be
Well,
saying
I'm just
stuff
saying,
like,
in the
and
but
then
darn
look
you
at how,
dictionary,
all
no.
in your
It's,
little feelings and all of that stuff, and nobody ain't even said what
who in
you
their
were even
feelings?
coming at. Like,
Y'all like to use stuff like that to make people feel
I
like they
didn't
got to
say
apologize.
that.
Ain't nobody
You
in their
said
feelings.
it. I never
What you
said
talking
that.
about? You just said I was in their feelings. No, this is what I'm
I'm
saying.
trying to
From,
keep
from the
and
place
then
I was
let you
coming
back.
from was ultimately saying the place I was coming from was ultimately saying
That's that
what's a
galaxy
good
dick. You
time
gotta get
for you to
out
talk
from,
to your
brother.
spouse.
You
You know what I
gotta
mean?
get your way.
Get him
I
back,
I
tried
guess
him
to,
back
you
in
Jamal,
there.
what
didn't
we
let
was
me.
asking, Jamal, what we was asking is, I think what we asking is, if you give somebody the vibe that there's never a good time, meaning like, I want to come talk to you. I've done picked up on your mood, your energies, and stuff like that. And there's been time in the past where I walked up and like, you know what, let me talk. I try to talk to you about something, and I got shut down or it turned into an argument. That's how you learn from your mistakes. You're supposed to reflect. Because you said all the ins and outs and stuff like that. We don't need to keep talking about that. We need to work on the solution. But sometimes working on solution, you have to reflect on what the problem was as to what got you there, so that you can not do it again. And so sometimes y'all want to skip that part and want to just go to solution when y'all don't even know what the issue is, and you may be the problem. And
No,
that's the part
we
that
already agreed. See, when you talking about in general, which is cool,
we
but in
didn't
this
agree
particular,
though. No
yeah,
one
yes, we
agreed.
did.
You didn't agree. No, we didn't.
No. This one you had cut off. You was doing something. You know what I mean? But when we was on there, we agreed. No, I'm on some real shit. You was breastfeeding. I heard that. You know what I mean? It was something going on. You know, boo. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know,
I can't right
I
now.
love it. All the good stuff. Look, see, you was making bottles. You know what I mean? All that. You had the
Actually, I
multiple-
made me some egg rolls.
Okay, you had the
I'm making
multiple
me
joint
some
on.
dinner.
You know what I mean? Which is cool. You know what I mean? But this all we came to an agreement already, and ultimately it was just like, you know what I'm saying, you need to communicate, you know, more and that those type things. But like I said, sometimes there's a time that's better than others to communicate, and we already agreed on that too. So we don't have to put a negative stigma on timing.
That's
We don't
not
have to say
negative, though.
I'm on eggshells. We don't have to say those things.
I think
I mean,
where that came from is that, like when Cherie was saying, if you talk consistently, right, you'll start to pick up your person's, you know, energy and when's a good time, when's not a good time. So you don't have these issues where you feel like, okay, I try to come talk to him, but this ain't a good time because I don't really know his energy right now. I'm only picking up with what I think I know. And she's saying, like, you know, if you talk all the time, then
It's
those
gonna come
things are
natural.
gonna come easily where you like, all right, this ain't a good time, yo. I can see it in his face, his energy off, I can feel it, and I'm not gonna talk about it right now. But if you don't know that because y'all don't talk enough, that's where the problem comes, because you're not talking enough.
yeah, well,
That's why it feels like eggshells every time you try to say something, because it goes left.
yeah, I mean, I get that, but just because y'all want to talk, don't mean that that's, you know what I mean, the appropriate time to talk. Like, you have to understand, it's not about y'all. It's not just about y'all. You have to realize we are wired a certain way. You know what I mean? Literally, like, it's not an offense to y'all. It's not, you know, to be negative. It's not to be egotistical. Like, we are wired a certain way, and y'all have to respect that. You know what I mean? If y'all got a problem with that, you got to take that up with God. That's how he made us. So you can't, we made in a perfect way. That's why I say we have to figure out how to coexist. Because ultimately, y'all deserve to have that conversation that you need to have. And we deserve to have that peace of mind of not having any conversation at times. So however that works out within each individual relationship is what needs to be worked on. That's all I'm saying. How can we coexist?
With consistency.
You know what I mean? Because,
that's what I said.
You know,
but you said you're being negative. That's how it works. You have to be consistent with doing certain things, and that's communicating. You have to be consistent.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. For example,
you have to be effective. It's not even. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, consistency doesn't even mean. You know what I'm saying? You have to be. I'm gonna tell you what you be consistent because y'all all about
all of that.
Consistently,
you know what I mean? Hear me out, because you cut me off. You know, whoa. So what you got there? God damn, this is eggshells, nigga. You know what I mean? Having a dialogue.
No darn eggshells.
You know what I mean? God damn, it's like double dutch. I'm trying to get up in there. Like, come on. Challenge one. Can I get in?
You doing all that? Say what you gotta say, bro.
All right, so anyway. All right, well, shit, damn. As soon as I open my mouth, I got something to say. All right, anyway. But no, this is what I'm saying. Y'all, what I'm trying to also deliver is the fact that it's not always about the quantity, it's about the quality of conversation. If you can have, you know what I'm saying, effective communication, then a man probably would want to have that kind of conversation more. If you were able to have the effective conversation. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Because a whole lot of gibberish, that's not getting it, that's not effective. If we just doing gibberish, if I just put my earplugs in and just let you go, you know what I mean? How can we be effective? And that's all.
Well,
it's just more so figuring each other out. We kind of saying the same thing.
If you take the time to listen,
I mean? Yeah, it is.
And if you take and not call certain things like gibberish or nagging, then you know maybe you'll be able to get somewhere sometimes.
Y'all hate that, but that's what it is sometimes. I'm sorry, guys. It's in the definition. Go blame Webster.
You don't know the difference.
You need to tell
listening,
Webster.
nagging, and gibberish.
You
don't know the difference.
Because even when a man's telling you nagging, you want to dismiss it. You dismiss anything a man says.
You said no. Earlier you just said that it's been plenty of times Cherie got on me, and she ended up actually being right. But I looked at it as nagging. That is not nagging. That's
and it's called too.
Yes,
you want to let you walk into a brick wall?
I agree.
No,
I agree.
Because if somebody let you walk into a brick wall every time, what kind of person is that? You want that person around you who don't say, yo, bro.
We're not disagreeing.
Right there.
We're not disagreeing. Some stuff ain't nagging, but guess what? Some stuff is.
Can we agree to say that you may have a bias coming into it?
About what? Why would I have a bias?
If you're already coming, sometimes I think, and I'm not going to say all men because I think women do the same thing too, but sometimes when you know, like when somebody say, can we talk? Or we need to talk about something. You preface it like that. People's brain automatically goes, oh shit.
Something negative.
Or what's this bullshit on? And so you already got a bias about what she going to say or he going to say before they even say it. So then your listening ears ain't even all the way on. they kind of turned on a little bit because all you want to hear, you waiting for the moment to where you can say, see, you waiting for a response moment. And that's where effective, consistent, emotional, intelligent listening, all those things come to play. Love language comes into play when it comes to that. Knowing how your partner communicates and how I had to learn these things the hard way in relationships to where I felt like I gave too much of trying to communicate with somebody who just was not trying to communicate back. When I should have just been like, you know what, deuces. You don't want to talk? I ain't gonna force nobody to have a conversation with me about stuff that we should be having a conversation about. Like, you shouldn't have to feel like that in a relationship. And if you do, that's when people start to venture out and feel like they could talk to other people. I can't talk to my dude or my girl. I'm going to go vent to this person. And that's where inappropriateness comes from, whether it's with a girlfriend or a guy friend. And so it's like, that's when you have to let your person be your person that you should be able to come to at any moment. Now, if I come to you and you say, you know what, babe, I heard what you just said. I'm absorbing everything you just said to me. Can I come back to you with a response? I just got a lot going on in my head right now because I don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking. So it's kind of like that's a part of effective communication is when you could easily say, you know what, I heard what you're saying, or just validate. A lot of times when communication is validation, people want to feel validated. Men want to feel validated when they share their feelings. Women want to feel validated and they don't.
Made it happen.
It still ain't happening. Why you want to pause? You paused?
No, he just looking down.
Oh.
He responded too.
I thought he was frozen.
He moving.
No,
he on the iPhone, so he moving now.
Oh shoot, we back in business.
Kill John.
But no, listen. Man.
Hey, cousin.
Y'all want girlfriend.
It's not. It has nothing
girlfriend.
to do with
I don't
that,
want you to be my girlfriend.
You said it multiple times.
You
said it multiple
I think Cherie was
I agree with a
one
lot
point.
of what you're saying.
Sure. You say one word,
like,
they be like, nobody wants to be your girlfriend. That wasn't my point.
We don't.
But Cherie was talking about one thing. She said, just like I could come to you and talk to you about stuff like I talked to my girlfriend. Her point was, I should have to come to you and talk to you about anything about how I'm feeling. Forget about the girls and whatever they did out last night. I'm talking about how I'm feeling. The baby's right here.
I don't want to talk about that. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you should. In a perfect world, you should.
It's not a perfect world either.
In a normal
world. That's why
real life.
It's not a perfect world. Right. And most times, as men in general, we don't want to talk about random.
That we didn't say that. We're talking
about feelings.
That's what you were saying. Like your girlfriend.
No, that was just an example.
She's just giving
an
example.
I didn't say that.
Right, and that's the example I'm speaking on. I'm speaking on that example. That is an example that we
know
want to
that.
talk about. We don't want to hear about your girlfriend,
we know that. That's why we don't tell y'all everything.
Or what you a lie.
Y'all don't even want to hear about our feelings. Y'all want to hear about our feelings.
I don't.
What's going on with us?
If I told Jamal a lot of the things I talk about my girlfriend still, he'd be like, hey, yo. He'd stop talking
not your friends no more.
Now, I know how to keep it PG-13 with him.
But most don't. So, see, that's what I'm saying. You might be the outlier, but the example you gave
but I also stated that I can call my girlfriend with my personal stuff with my marriage, and she's going to check me and say, bitch, you wasn't right. That wasn't right. Or, you know what I'm saying? She going to listen to everything I got to say first, even though she might be giving me constructive criticism, whatever the situation is, whatever I'm coming to her about. But she's going to listen first before she reacts or respond or act like she don't want to hear it. Because guess what? I'm going to have to be that listening ear for her too sometimes. And that's what I mean. Like we need to have, we need to be able to build that relationship.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can I ask you a question now? All right.
I can't hear you, brother.
We can't hear you. Your Android
Yeah.
not
Can you hear me now? See, I ain't on Android. Smart, see?
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, she be married, yeah.
So look, made me forget my point, but I already got it back. Do you think that most women are like that, or you think you're
What you
stuck
mean?
or different?
What you mean?
No, I
What you
think a
mean?
lot of
Do I
women
think
are like
other
that.
all women like
You
that?
think most women are going to give you a constructive? You think most women are giving their friends constructive criticism
Oh,
on the stuff that they speak about on the
Yeah,
phone with their relationships?
my
I do.
friends,
Mm.
my
You should
friends.
want to have friends like
Listen.
that. My friends do.
I said
Oh, I
in
don't
general,
know.
not
My
just your
sister's
friend, not
girlfriends
your,
do. That's
Well,
why
your
we good
I
good
can't
experience.
talk
girlfriends for
about. I don't
years.
Like
know.
most women aren't rational.
Uh-oh.
First of all,
First of all, hold on, Retro.
what?
What you talking about?
Aren't women aren't emotional? Women are emotional.
So are men.
I think some women are, not all women.
No. Men are more
Not all
rational.
women.
Women are more emotional. Let's
God.
start
Men
there.
are more
Let's have a
irrational.
real conversation.
What is in the water today?
Yeah, y'all gonna be mad at me today. I don't care.
It's science.
Yeah,
This is the
that's-
thing.
that's-
It's not science because not
That's
everybody
why
is
y'all
the
bond with the
same.
kids more. Y'all are more emotional.
There's nothing wrong
No,
with
I
It's
know a
nothing
lot of
wrong.
men
It's
who
not.
burn
It's
with
not a.
children.
It's not a shot.
I know a lot of men who burn with children. So does that mean they're emotional?
You said what?
I know a lot of men that burn with children more. So does that mean they're emotional? To your point.
There are emotional men. Yes, there are. So you're taking a personal.
And then there's a lot of women who are unemotional. So I'm saying, like, you can't just put everybody in a box.
I'm
Like,
not.
there's
I'm
some
speaking
women.
in generalities. I'm speaking like it's more than 50% of women are emotional.
You said how many percentage?
More than
He said more
50%
than 50%.
is general.
I'll say
yeah.
half and half, but
You don't
know.
think more than 50%. I'm leaving then because there's no.
I would say
had this
half. I would
conversation.
say half. No, I'm just say half. I'm not gonna say more than half because
Hey,
that's the thing. I know a lot of emotional ass men.
I see, but now we flipping the topic though. That's not what I'm
No,
saying.
what I'm saying is, and I know a lot of unemotional.
That.
No, I know. I'm saying is,
No,
I know a lot of.
because we're talking. I'll answer a question about women. And
You
I know
that
a
you
lot of emotional men.
No, what I'm saying is that I know a lot of unemotional women, very unemotional women,
But
and I know a lot of
rational.
because you said 50. No, and I know a
Rational
lot of
is not
rational
unemotional.
women. I'm saying both. I know a lot of women who are unemotional and very rational, and I know a lot of men who are extra emotional and irrational. Extra.
So all right. So see, now we're about to switch the subject. I don't want to do that. But most of
Stop
those
it.
extra emotional men was raised by emotional women.
No, they're not.
Ooh,
How you know
that
that?
hurt.
Are you
Ooh.
convinced? You got scientific fact. You did research. Like you shouldn't. Y'all gotta stop with the
Right.
generalizations.
Generalizations are valid.
Not all of them.
Most
Just like when they
generalizations
say
are valid.
Are they? No, they're not all the time.
No.
Sometimes they're not. It's just an opinion. We all got it. Like we all got butts.
Well, because society
It
said,
is a
I
lot
think
of
I'm
them.
assuming
Control
everything is what society
Because
said.
society says.
What
Control the panel. They
say?
get emotional over there.
The thing is, you think because of don't mistake my passion and my voice as emotion.
Emotion.
Because the emotion ain't
Passion
there.
and emotion.
Well, yes.
It's okay.
I'm a passionate
Okay.
talker.
That's why we
I
love
talk
y'all.
very passionately.
That's
But
why we love
emotion is
y'all.
not.
Y'all
The
are
thing
not
is-
passionate. Y'all can't be
Nobody
men.
wants to
We don't
be
want you to be.
men.
We want
Men
you to
are.
be
Oh,
you.
I don't want to be. First of all, I don't want to be. I mean, second of all, y'all be doing too much, and ain't nobody got time for
We
that.
do too much.
Yeah, too much and not enough all at the same time.
Right.
Thanks.
We do too much. We pretty much.
BBLs.
Y'all pretty much what?
We
So
simple.
you talk,
Y'all are
your
not
friend
simple.
circle. Your friend
And
circle
what do
is
getting your
respecting the
body done got to
population.
do with anything?
Y'all
Nothing.
actually not simple.
What does a
Oh, this men
body
out there
have?
getting their body done. They getting abs put in there, implants, wigs, frontal. Stop playing.
Definitely
Beard,
can
frontal.
need this.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I got trust issues. I got trust issues now because of y'all. It
Wait
ain't
a minute.
real out on the streets.
So you know how? So you know where we coming from then, huh?
What? That there's nobody who's getting their hands?
You talk about women.
Wigs, makeup, nails, eyebrows. Yeah. Yeah, we getting that.
No.
We coming from. We've been had trust issues. Welcome to the game.
First of all, not with. Listen, I understand the trust issues. I get it. I understand. It's girls out there. They be catfishing. They look like one thing. Then you come home, the makeup come off.
But,
Like a whole different
but
movie.
yeah, and
I
men
get it.
do the same thing.
However, y'all be out
I'm
there for.
fine
Let me tell you something.
Don't get
No
offended.
I went on a date. Right. This is when I was single, and the guy told me he was 6'1". I'm 5'8", so I'm a tall girl. So I
Okay.
don't want nobody shorter than me.
Okay.
I got on a date. He was 5'9" and had the nerve to say, "Dad, you taller in person." No, bruh, you lied. You are a midget. Get out of here.
He a midget.
He was like 5'6" and was shorter than me.
All right. Well, I mean, he had to do that.
But he lied. You
That's
catfishing, bro.
catfishing. That's
You catfishing at 101. How you gonna tell
Okay.
me 6'1"? Eventually, I'm gonna meet you. So what else you lying about? We can't talk no more. We can't. I'd rather you had a fake beard.
So
than
what's
they're lying to me about
So-
some.
so? I mean, he catfished his size. You might have catfished your hairline.
I did know.
Or you might
I don't lie about wearing
you're a
weave.
little slimmer than you really are.
But I don't. I never do. I don't have nothing to hide. Listen,
It's just
this
a
is,
little
you getting all this. You getting all this. This is whatever you about to see is what you about to see. You either like it or you don't.
So you
I
don't
don't
wear
have
makeup.
to.
You don't put nothing on. You don't put no makeup.
If I wear makeup, it's very minimal to where you almost don't know I have it on because I don't even like wearing a bunch of makeup on my face. I got very sensitive skin. Don't play them kind of games.
Okay.
Natural beauty.
Okay. Hey, look, you a rare one.
I don't wear
There's
makeup.
a lot of us out there though.
Only when it's occasion. That's the only time I got makeup on my face.
Y'all missing the generalization of the world. Like, it is a lot of natural. It's
That's
not
a
a lot.
problem. We need to stop generalizing everybody in this world. That's where a lot of
sure
harm
is.
comes from. The generalization.
It'll be like,
It's not.
We gotta
you
stop
women
generalizing people. We
and
gotta
you
individual.
men. You be like,
We gotta
good grief.
take everything
What's
with
When
a
do
grain of
people
salt
take
and
accountability of
individualize
the
it.
fact that all the things that's being said, they're just really doing instead of being, well, why we gotta be the same? It don't have nothing to do with being the same. It's just really how you acting.
Well, actually, because most women are fighting to be equal to men.
No, I
is what they
wouldn't
say,
know.
right?
I don't think that's true
I
though.
don't know too many men fighting to be equal.
I think that's misunderstood. I think that women, like we had this conversation in lives before, where a lot of women had to be put in positions where they had to be, and a lot of women had to fight to get into a position where they can make something of themselves because they didn't have. Because like back in the day, a woman only got married because that was the only way she can get anything with her husband's name.
Got married. It wasn't for
A lot of
family and to raise
times,
kids.
legally, that's what it was. You couldn't get your own. You couldn't get your own anything in your name without having a man. And a long time ago. Now that's not the same, and a lot of women are trying to step out of that, and I feel like it's being looked at as negative. Now, do I say that there's a lot of women who use that as a weapon? And sometimes, yes, but that also comes from damage of being made to feel like what you accomplish is nothing. Like nobody gonna tell me all the things I work hard for is nothing because.
When you say they're making it seem like it's nothing, what do you mean?
I mean, like when people when I've heard men make comments, oh, because you got this degree, or because you got that, you think you're better than me. No one ever said that. I'm proud of my accomplishments. Maybe because you're not.
Y'all said
If you're not,
right. Y'all
but
said.
the thing is, but why?
Huh?
Why? Especially, and the funny thing about it is that you might talk to somebody who makes less money than you, right? Who may not have all the degrees and the fancy, all that stuff. But I'm not talking to you obviously because of that. Because if I was, then I would talk to somebody who had all that. So then when you come at me about all my things and my accomplishments, but sometimes when you come at me about my accomplishments, when you come at somebody about their accomplishments, and you sound like a hater, and you sound like you're in competition for no reason. Obviously, I'm talking to you in spite of those things. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what kind of fancy degree you have. If you don't have that, obviously, I know that, and I'm still interested in you as a person. And so when you come at somebody about those things, you sound weak and corny.
Again, you lose me. When you say somebody's coming at you about those things, let me tell you why most men don't put that on a pedestal that you want them to. Is because
I don't want them to though.
Huh?
I don't want them to. But when you talk down about it, when you talk. No. I'm saying when people talk down about it, when you talking down about it, now you gotta make me defensive. For me, what's a compliment?
Give me an example of somebody talking down about it.
Yeah, because it's been on the live,
okay,
and it even came out of Jamal's mouth himself and said, like, okay, you got a degree, okay, big thing.
Okay. All right, so let me tell you why he said that though.
Okay, you do all that.
Let me tell you why he said that though. Because in the end, you still want to provide man. You
No,
still
but
want a
that
man
don't have
that's better
nothing to
than you.
do with it.
You're
Because
not,
he was
you're
getting
not,
offensive.
you're not in
He was getting offended by we were talking about the word independent woman and how she walks around
Independent.
and
right.
feels like, you know, he like, okay, you got a degree, okay, you know, you got a house, or you got your car, or, you know, okay, like you're being an adult. And it's like,
Right,
no.
that's an adult.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a difference when I know that's being an adult, but when you throw it at somebody like that,
it's for the man to pay
no,
the bills.
no.
So you
The
want
thing
somebody
is
on the
this:
same level or better than you, right?
I would like somebody to be on the level of you can be responsible, right? So if you're better than me,
Adult.
if you make more money than me, right? Who's to say that you want to make that money tomorrow? Anything can happen,
Who's to say you want
and
to
all
do
that
money tomorrow? Like, that's the
exactly
generalization right there.
anything can happen. So my point is that if you go into the basis of saying like, all right, I'm only looking at you for all your stats and what you got, and that's all your worth is to me, and nothing else, then you. What I'm saying is,
no, listen. So that's not what men are saying. What we're saying is,
but they are though.
No, listen. You're leading with the wrong thing. There's plenty of other things that you can bring to the table if you want to talk about. I hate saying the table, but you know, bring to the relationship. But when you lead with your degree and these things that adults do that aren't going to matter, because I'm going to have to pick up the gist of like bills or the financial bulk or whatever, then like I want you to bring other things, you know, like be my peace.
But in
you know
2022,
what I mean?
that's not even realistic anymore.
Raise my
Coming to the table.
Why is that not realistic?
It's not realistic.
Why is that?
No,
Peace-
no,
Peace
I'm
is
not.
not realistic.
See how you jump? You ain't even let me finish what I was saying. You just heard a word and ran with it. I'm not talking about peace. I'm talking about the fact of what he said about a woman saying how she got all these things, and then the man come into the situation and he's basically he's going to end up taking over everything. And I'm saying that that's not realistic anymore. Like, is we're coming to the table and figuring out our overall situation together. It's not necessarily like, okay, I'm going to take on all what you had going on, and all I'm asking from you is just peace. What?
Sheree, most these days don't want to split bills. So if most women,
you said most
let's
women?
be for real, yeah, generalizing. I'm generalizing. I talk to a lot of them. Most women don't want to split bills. They don't even want to date you if you don't take them somewhere fancy. So
that's because their mindset is about
Jomo, you on the wrong
all about the
planet. You need to get off of that planet.
Conversations how we do it all day long. That's what they're being fed. That's what the Western world or the rat game, whatever you want to call it, that's what they're feeding our women now. So people are eating that up. Everybody a bad bitch. Everybody a 10. Everybody deserves. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you got your degree. That's great. That's wonderful. But now, are we splitting this? Like, are you bringing that to the table to help? Or are you just bringing that to say, I got it, in case something happens?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because for me to fall off, that means I was in charge.
But see, that's not everybody's mindset, though. That's probably a tiny, it's not even most. It's not even most.
Oh,
that's
a small.
I know a lot of
people. I need y'all to date women. Y'all gotta date women.
That's because you dating the wrong people.
Listen, I know some women who are like that.
No,
I don't
know nobody
like
that.
I get you, but just because you don't know them, I'm trying to tell you.
But you gotta think about it. That amount of women that you're talking about is a small blip in the population.
That's a dot.
Still ain't enough.
It is
a blip.
How do you know? Do you understand?
How do you know? This world is.
How do you know?
You don't even date women. How do you know?
How do you know?
I can say the same thing. The amount of men that I dated
no. You speak on the men. You speak on the men, and he's speaking on the women. Like I said, y'all want to be so emphatic.
Okay, so you dated every woman in the world.
And I hope
you dated
50%. You feel like you dated
50% of the women in the world.
Majority
we
of
ain't
the
going
women.
no percentage. He said the women that
you feel like you dated majority of the women in the world.
You're not even dating them.
Yes. In
That's
America,
Then you get
America,
around.
both sides.
America.
Then you get a hell
Damn.
around. Three landscapes. Oh, God, Jesus.
And see, that's the problem. Y'all don't take it serious when we
Yeah.
tell y'all
Yo.
stuff. That's where the communication falls apart.
No,
Because now
I
I'm trying to
believe
tell
you.
you, we having a
I believe you.
about something and y'all laughing, y'all think it's
No,
funny.
I'm laughing
But
because you think
if I
you
was to
dated
tell
so many people.
if
It's
I was to
not.
tell you it's good men out here that do what they
I
gotta
ain't
do,
disagreeing with
It
that.
is. I believe you. I know them,
you know them?
and I know a lot of good men that do what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
But I know a lot of women who do
Are
what
you
you're
dating?
talking about. The thing is, I'm not disagreeing with you that there are women out there like that. But
Mhm.
to say the majority, you should say the majority of women that I've come into contact with. That's just your population of women.
No, I
It's
didn't
not
say
the world.
I said that. I said
Mhm.
that I talk to, that what I see with my eyes, like I do a
But that's
lot of
still a small population. It's still
talk to a
small in
lot
the
of
gist
people.
of.
So if that's his reality, then he has the right to speak on his reality. Don't
It's
you?
not
It
his
ain't. It ain't.
reality though. It is what
No
it
one,
is.
some,
You
no
gotta
one's
change the
doing
game
that. But
up,
what I'm
Jomo.
saying to
Women,
you is that
You gotta change the game
huh?
up.
I'm trying to change
what
the game up.
but
The problem is men will settle, women won't settle. Right?
you tripping.
And you ain't
Out
keeping
your
it real.
mind.
Like that's the first problem.
No, I am being for real. It's a lot of women out here that settle. I promise
No,
you.
I said, yeah, they will. You know, it is a lot, but it's a lot more that say they won't.
But
And
but
it's a
see,
lot
they
that say
say
they
see
won't
the
and they
difference is saying and doing
right.
is two different things.
It's two
Because
different
people
things.
be
A lot of
saying,
women that say
people
it,
say a
but
lot of
be
things.
really
I
settling.
said I ain't settling, or I ain't want nobody with no kids. Look at me. I said that. I said that in live. I
That's
said
shot.
that. So we
Okay.
say a lot of
Okay.
things. That's the same thing with men. Y'all say a lot of things, but when it's time to do, it's a whole different tune.
What?
It's not the same as you can say a whole bunch of things.
Listen, so first of all, let me tell you my philosophy. Good men and good women are rare. Rare.
Not really.
So that means
They're not rare.
people ain't shit. If you can't agree with
No,
that,
that's
then
true.
No, I don't think it's rare. You just never met them. The thing is, they're not rare.
because
You just
they're
have not
rare.
come
You
across
don't come
them.
across
They're
them
not
all the
rare.
time.
What I say is that you are one person. This world population, you know how many people are in this world?
Yeah.
So to say that the majority of women that you talk to have been like that, it's still a blip in the population. It don't even give you
I
a blink
watch
of an eye.
stations. I do
Meaning,
research. I
and
do a
even
lot
in
of
that, it's
things.
still a small population. It's not the
You can go
majority.
on
It's just what you come in
Instagram,
contact with.
whatever. The internet is here now. Now you can hear other people's opinions and ideas. This is what they are saying.
It's still a small. It's still not the majority. It's just what you're, and even in that, it's what people saying.
So
Don't
you
mean
telling
what
me?
they really living.
So you telling me?
You know how people be living one way, they be flexing
So
on the gram and wherever else, but really be living a whole nother
you
life.
telling me it's more than 50% of women that are that want. What am I saying? So you telling me that I'm false in saying that most women want to be taken
But I don't
care
feel
of?
like that's most.
So what you want to say?
So
25%?
50% is most. 50% is half. That's in the middle.
I
It's
don't think
ridiculous
I'm
it's
that
saying
you guys
50%,
though.
sit up here
50%.
and try to come up with a percentage that y'all agree on.
I'm just trying to understand
It's like
what general
selective.
conversation
It's like selective ignorance that this man got to sit up here
It's
and
not
come up to
selective ignorance. What I
a
said to him was
percentage.
that
Hold on. First of all, you ain't got to come up with no percentage. You know what I mean, for them to approve of. At the end of the day,
ain't nobody
you
trying to
hold
sway
on,
you
hold
from.
on.
It's a
And then guess
You
what?
conversation.
living
He
your
was
life.
like,
You
that's
understand? We
not
all
what I
see this
meant.
shit.
That's not what I was trying to
We
say.
all see this shit.
I ain't say
This is
that.
a
I
waste of
said
time.
that's different before.
Because you're refuting everything.
But you got a lot of talk.
That's the problem. You
Nobody
talk too much.
refuting it. What I said was
You know what I
that
mean?
you are small. You are one person.
No, that's
When
why
you say the majority,
Yeah.
when you say the majority, it puts you in a
They
space
they
where
have
you're
you
no,
shaking
saying
your
I'm
tail.
just
that you met the majority of the world.
I love it. But so,
Don't
no, but
condone
all I'm
his
saying is
shenanigans.
we do this all the time. We do this all the time. It's usually me and him going at it. That's why it's fun now. So, but you think that less than 50% of women want to be taken care of, is what you say? Because that's a generality. Like when I'm talking general, I'm talking 50% or more
I say
women
20. I say
want to be
25%.
taken care
You mean
of.
you mean
Taking
financially?
care
I
of
say
You mean
25%.
financially only? You mean financially?
Okay. And
Are you talking about
I'm sorry, I
financially?
catch your name.
Are you talking about financially only, or are you talking about in general everything that comes with a man
Yeah,
in a relationship?
financially. Yeah, we go. Let's do some manuals. Yeah,
I mean, I'll give it a little bit more than 25%,
a little bit more.
but I would say like maybe I'll give it 50% but I feel like that's vague because
On the people in America of women in America that want to be taken care of.
I would say 50%. Because
I'm
the reason why I say
I'm
50%.
honest with y'all. If that's the numbers y'all giving, I can't really have a conversation with y'all because I'm pretty sure
In the world. Think about
I'm
what
talking-
you said the world, not your world, the world.
I said that multiple times. You keep changing it, but I said
In the world.
I said in America. If you
In
want to
America.
go to the world, most women in the world are being taken care of by their men because that's the way things they are in other countries.
All right, well,
So
let's stick with America.
Go to the world is way more.
Let's stick with America.
All right.
So you
No,
said you can't have
America,
a
that's cool.
conversation
That's cool.
because she said 50% and I said 25%.
I mean, because it's hard to have a conversation if you think that, like,
Because
that's,
only because that's just
totally
like
false.
you saying how you came across a whole bunch of women in your world that is a certain kind of way. But I know a whole bunch of women who doesn't feel like they just want their man to do any and everything for them. So like that's not fair to me because if I'm like that, I don't necessarily feel like I want my husband to do any and every little thing for me. No, I don't feel like that.
No, I ain't saying every single thing.
No, I'm not.
Extreme,
I'm
though.
not
I was
taking
just
it to
speaking.
the extreme.
I was
You said a lot. Majority of the women that you come across is that way, and I
Wanna be taken
say
care of.
I know
One
a
day,
lot
man,
of women that are like
they
don't
will
feel like
able to
that.
take care of them. First of all, and look, and let me tell you this: there's nothing wrong with that because you're supposed to, as a man, be able
No,
to take
it's
care of
not
your
nothing
woman
wrong with that.
financially.
But I'm not
Right,
taking
so
away from that. But
so-
I just said I don't agree with it being 50%.
And I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
you said 25.
And
So,
that's speaking from the
one
women
in
I
every
know.
4 women want to be taken care of. One in every 4 women that you know want to be taken care of. See, when you start saying it, it sounds crazy.
No, it don't.
That's why you gotta say it out loud sometimes. You gotta
No, it don't.
to it because if you just keep saying a lot and a little, that's a
No,
big
but you
broad
said
range.
majority, so let me
I
say
guess
majority of the women.
Oh.
Maybe because I'm not using that same
Yeah.
word that you're using, but majority of the women,
No,
majority of the women that I
Majority,
know, and you
1%
said
or
your
more.
majority was 50, but I said my majority was 25.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
He said more than 50.
When I use generalizations, I'm usually saying 50% or higher, 51% or higher is generalization. I ain't saying, I know it ain't 100%. Well, actually, I don't want to say that, but it might be 90.
You probably feel like it 100. You think it's like 90.
It might be like but it's nothing wrong with
I think
taking care of by
Nobody
man.
said that.
Like,
It
it's
I don't
was.
think
nothing wrong
it is,
at all.
but I think it's always a negative thing that
I know,
comes with
but
it.
I'm just saying the problem is that it is a lot of women that want to, like, the problem with communication. Women can't even communicate with each other. Like, because the way your friends are with you is not how they act when they date. So the thing they're telling you
Well,
is
my
not what
friends
they
not
really
dating because
expected
they
out
all
of a date.
married or in relationships like me.
And okay, now boom, perfect example. So your friends that are married, are they taking care of the household bills, or is the man usually a financial the leader with the finances?
It's shared.
One is 25%.
No, it's 50-50.
It's 50 and 50.
No,
you
I
said
said I know
25%.
25% of women who are not walking around talking about they want their man to do any and everything for them is what I said.
Oh, so it's 75% that do. Yeah.
No.
It's 25%.
What is this man saying?
Is that what she said?
No, you were talking about, you were saying the population in America. You said the population in America, what's the percentage of women you think want to be taken care of? And Cherie said 25%.
I'm talking to Cherie. Cherie said 20. Maybe you spoke it wrong. That's why I said it again. You said
I said
25% of the people.
because you made a statement earlier that you said the majority of the women that you date had that mindset, right?
No, I didn't say I date. I didn't say I date.
Whatever
I
you
date.
did. come
Or
across
no.
No,
No,
I
he
didn't.
conversation,
said no. He said
No,
I
Paul
know.
whatever,
said that. I
He said
didn't
I
say that.
whatever
know.
you
I said I
said,
was
you
speaking
said
in
it.
general.
And I said, well, if that's the case, I'm gonna say majority of the women that I know, if since I didn't use the proper word for you, that I'm gonna say majority. And I said your majority was okay. You said it's 51% and above. Okay, I can say 51%, 51% and above too, from the majority of the women that I know. That I don't feel like
Right.
walk around with the like I need my man to do any and everything for me. No,
I didn't
I'm
say anything.
saying it.
Again,
That's
listen,
what I'm saying.
financially responsible is what I'm talking about. Like, not just any and everything. I'm just saying that they usually want the man to take care of the larger load of the financial responsibility in the relationship. Is
The
that
way 2020, the way, I mean, since COVID, it has not been that mindset
Yeah,
because a
a
lot of
lot
things
of
that's
people
been happening to
mindsets
where
is not the same no
that is
more.
not, they can't
Mm-mm.
be like that no more.
so?
Maybe
What is so?
before
What's
all this, maybe before COVID, when people didn't have the
what's
financial burdens or things that happened during COVID, but I don't think everybody has that same
What's the
mindset.
what's the
And if
expectation
they
for
do,
a
they
difference?
man
living
in
in a false
communication?
reality.
So most women now. So you said not. Well, not. I ain't gonna say. So you telling me women now are looking for communication more than finances?
They're looking for peace, mental peace,
Oh,
more than finances. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. And if that means communication, and that means effective communication, it means vulnerability, it means transparency, it means loyalty, honesty, all those different things. If all that fits under that category, yes, that's what women would rather be single than deal with the bullshit nowadays.
I think that.
I promise you.
So women. So I'm about to trigger you. Women would rather be in the street.
What?
No, I said single.
I
Nobody said
mean, if
anything
you're
about
out here
street.
not looking for a relationship, you gotta get sexual
I said
gratification.
single. Nobody said anything about the streets.
I mean,
I'd rather not deal with nobody.
I just explained it. If you're not trying to be in a relationship, in my opinion, man or woman, work for the streets.
I don't know.
Or maybe you just don't want nothing. You just want to be for yourself. Not
So,
everything got to be just because I ain't in a relationship. I want to
women
be in the
want to be
streets.
abstinent.
Jesus
He's crazy.
Christ. I just can't be single.
I'm
I can't be
that,
single and not ready to
that
mingle.
makes a lot of sense.
Jomo, I don't know what
If
type of
if a
women you're
person
dating, but you
in a
need to
relationship,
stop. Stop hanging out with the single crowd.
not
It's over.
dating.
Let it go.
I'm trying to hang with married people. I've been hanging with married. Let me tell you. You know what's funny that you say that? At one point, I didn't want to get married. I was for the streets. As I've gotten older, I see the value. So the people that I talk to and how I talk to them is totally different. I go with a purpose. At first, my purpose was to smash. And it's easy. That's the easiest thing in the world. But to find a woman of quality that's on the same page, especially in 2022, like y'all said, because the game is changing. Y'all got degrees
Here
and
we
y'all
go.
think y'all can
You
do
see, you heard him.
this.
Y'all got degrees.
Yeah, it's
That
different.
don't have nothing
Oh
to
my
do with it.
God. People had
Y'all
degrees in
want
2020.
to do all that, but
Women
still
been
be
had
the person
degrees.
be in charge.
Is it fair
Like
to
it's like
expect a
y'all
man
want
to
the
always be a woman's
traditional,
piece?
but women are single. A woman
No.
needs peace.
No, he
Women are
said,
chaos.
is it fair to expect a man to always want to be a woman's piece?
It's bad.
I think it's only if I don't think that should be her only source of peace. I think someone has to be internal and personal, and she shouldn't depend on just a man to bring that peace to her. But if you are going to be in a relationship with somebody, at least be with somebody who is bringing you some sort of peace and not chaos.
Absolutely.
Or otherwise, why be with somebody? You might as well be by yourself. You can do bad all by yourself. You don't need to create chaos for somebody else.
Oh man, this is
Communication.
crazy, boy.
Communication.
This is crazy.
All right, Sheree, start. You know what I mean? Put us on. What's up with the next topic and all that other good stuff? Next, you know what I mean? Next project. So we got to work on the next meetup. Oh, tell them briefly about how well
So the
meetup
live
went,
in person
you know what I
was
mean?
like
And then,
really,
you know,
really
close
great.
out.
Whoever didn't get to catch it, see it, like the vibe, the energy, everything was great. I don't know when the next one gonna be, but
The next topic, I'm gonna just put up. See, people gotta participate. Y'all come on here. Y'all got so much to say. And when I say, what should we talk about? Nobody be in there writing no questions or nothing like that. And then I got to figure it out on my own. Teamwork make this dream work.
I got an idea.
No,
You might
what?
not use it though. What does a woman's degree
my God.
bring to a?
You trying to
Put it out there.
I got many questions. Listen, I'm gonna start.
yes, because when I put up the
little,
poll, like, what should we talk about? What's the topic? Nobody never say nothing. But we gonna see. Because you know what I mean? This platform is for everybody. It's not just about us. It's about everybody. And you know, we need to get better with being supportive of each other as a whole, because we all go through different things all the time. And everybody needs this. So everybody needs to get off their high horse and feeling like, oh, I don't want to talk about. Listen, the same stuff you going through at home, somebody else is going through too. So it's nothing wrong with coming on here and sharing and speaking from your standpoint of your relationship or your past experiences or anything like that. So we have to learn to get out of that. If I was giving out something for free, you definitely be on this joint. But anyway, but yeah, you know, I appreciate everybody coming on the live tonight. And if you missed this live, it will be on our YouTube channel. The link is in my bio if you want to see the live in person from last week. It was great. And coming soon is the Davises and Friends Couples Retreat Part 2. Y'all fronted on me with the one in the summertime, but it's cool. I'm definitely going to be planning for the next one in 2023. And, you know, I'm open to everybody. If you are like in a relationship, you've been there for like 2 years, you know, you're welcome to come. It's not just married people. We had people who were married, people who were like getting ready to get married, people who were freshly married. But if you have a relationship or something like that, and you want to just come and join, you're welcome to come. It's open to everybody. This platform, again, is for everybody. You know, so don't limit yourself. What is it?
He said, what does a woman do?
Jomo!
Somebody else asked a question. They said,
question, what does a woman value in a man today? What does women value in a man today? Question for ladies.
In men today.
That's a good one too.
What does a woman value men in today? In a man today?
Yeah, what does women value in a man? Transparency.
Child.
Transparency, morals, family values, work ethic.
Be human. Stop worrying about because you a man. Just, you know, you appreciate a motherfucker that you can just talk to and y'all talk together and communicate and active listening and all of that. Like the communication, it's just, this man leader stuff is crazy. That's all I can say. And that's not coming because I'm a woman. Like, I just feel like the roles just don't mean anything if you don't really play your role and know your role.
Basically.
Like the role?
No, I'm not saying that leader is a role, but I'm saying, like, you know, if you just like you say, you signed up to be a wife. Well, you signed up to be a husband. What makes you different from me? Like, we all have a role to play in the situation. Like, that doesn't take away from, okay, you're a leader. Okay, but you're also a husband too. You signed up to be a husband. You didn't sign
your
up to
partner,
be
you're
who
my
you
friend,
are.
Your father.
Like, no.
The husband's role is a leader.
It should be in the household. You gotta be a leader though.
If you marry a husband that's not the leader, then that sounds like a you problem.
It's a lot of men who think that they're leaders just because they're men, and they don't present themselves as that, and they don't do those different things that leaders do.
Right.
And they should, but like somebody said earlier, you should be looking at this stuff before you decide to get married to this person, and they should be showing you these qualities prior to. Now, like I said, some people show you their representative for a very long time, and then they flip script once, you know, the comfortability and
If you
certain
made a
things
decision,
come
that's
into
on
play.
you. Take some accountability. If you pick the wrong person, you pick the wrong.
Jamal, don't do that. Don't
And
do that.
sometimes
Don't
you're
do
the wrong
that to
person.
people, because there's a lot of people who have
Sometimes somebody's
representatives
settling for you.
that show themselves. Okay,
So
whatever.
just keep all
Like I
that in
said,
mind,
there's a
guys.
lot of people
But
that
no,
show you
look,
them
but
their
listen, real
representative,
rap. You right
and then they
about that.
change.
You right about that. People do have representatives. The only thing I'm a come back at you with
True, when you
is
accept that
most
you're
time when
meant to
people say that,
be, or you
most
okay
time
with
when people
letting him
say that,
be
they
also
direct it
included.
to like women
Say that again,
say
Mo.
thing.
Yeah.
Say that again. Say that again. Sorry.
I was saying that like you said, people do show their representatives. Like, but most times when y'all bring that up, y'all are talking about men, and a lot of times.
No, I believe women too. No, no, no. It
I
goes
got you.
both
I
ways.
got you. Yeah, women do that also, and a lot of times, like that's what people be like. Oh no, we grew apart, or he changed. He probably changed
No.
because of you. Like you said, you came home and took that makeup
I
off. You ain't look the same.
cannot take the
Like
makeup
now,
off.
expectations
No, let me tell you something.
go
Let
down.
me tell you
Like hold up,
something. Najomo,
hold
let me
up.
tell you this.
Give it a
Let me
whirl,
tell
but
you
still
this.
look.
Let me tell you this. And I'm going to be super
Uh-huh.
transparent about this. When me and Jamal,
Please,
right?
please.
We
Uh-oh.
like,
Yeah, watch
I
out.
remember I used to always like talk to Jamal about all types of stuff, right? And all it took was that one, no, not one time. I'm not going to say one time, because it was like one time, shame on me. 2 times, shame on him. 3 times, bitch, I ain't saying nothing else. We were talking about this. Like, we had conversations. Like, I used to always talk to him about all kinds of stuff. And then it was just one day I came to talk to him about something, and we literally got into an argument. And I was looking like, well, what the hell happened? Like, I used to be able to come to him and talk to him about all kinds of stuff, and it just went left. And at first, I was like, all right, maybe, I don't know. I tried to make an excuse for it. But then it happened again. And then it kept happening. And it got to the point where I couldn't tell him stuff. And then now it was looking like I was lying to him. And I really wasn't. It's just that I couldn't tell him, because every time I was telling him things, we was getting into an argument.
You think that go back to what I was saying, that sometimes I
No,
don't want
that
to
has
hear what y'all be
nothing to
talking
do
about?
with that.
She's talking about like stuff with them, like real stuff, like
Like, it
Was
wasn't a reason for that. Like, certain things happen for a reason. Like, there was no reason that we were getting into constant arguments over stuff that may not even have anything to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Where I was able to have these conversations with him before, and it just was going left. And I didn't understand it.
All right, I get that. It's a little bit more context to the situation. You know what I mean? We don't want to get all into the details or whatever, but there's more to it than that. You know what I mean? But in general, you know what I mean? It's this is definitely a great conversation, a great topic. You know what I mean? Again, I definitely want to see how we can just as a community. I think I'm starting to look at this platform more so, not just relationships, but like in terms of like how we can be married or whatever, but more so how can we communicate better, like in our community, because that's something that we lack in general. You know what I mean? And I think that like the more we have dialogue, the more we can try to get closer to having a better understanding. You know what I'm saying? So communication is definitely key, and I definitely appreciate the communication, because at the end of the day, we learn more about y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that you're saying, you know what I mean? Whether we agree with it or not, we still learning something. So I think the conversation is definitely good for us to try to start getting closer to just being on the same page and coexisting the right way. You know what I mean? That's my closing thoughts on the topic.
My final thought
I
is,
think
I appreciate
We
y'all.
appreciate you too, Jomo.
Appreciate y'all. Yeah.
I'm glad you got off that Android. I appreciate that a lot, because it was like really echoing.
Guys, you was having a baby chat.
Pow, pow, pow,
I
pow.
say nothing about that. I didn't say nothing about that.
It's like, no, real stuff though. This is it's always
I'm
good
sorry.
to come on here and share or whatever. I don't ever want anybody to feel afraid or uncomfortable, because I try to be as transparent as possible, because I'm not speaking from just general. No, this be real life stuff for me. We just don't go into full detail with however the situation transpired. We try to sugarcoat it as much as we can without really giving the business. No, but it's real. I speak from experience, and that's why we created this platform, is because we speaking from experiences with a lot of things. We don't have all the answers because we still trying to figure it out too. We just open it up to everybody to be able to share and help each other, because it's a village at the end of the day. That statement is real. Nowadays, you need a village to build a marriage. It's not even just raising your children. You need a village to hold a relationship nowadays. And we need to really get into that and, hold on to that support, because we need each other. Because sometimes it may not be as big as we think that it is. And we ready to walk away from somebody that's, meant to be. But we don't realize it because we're too stubborn and in our own way. So,
They're closing the joints. Bray, what you got to say? Did you have any closing statement yet?
I want to say, the way we could do better with understanding each other, we need to stop generalizing everything. And I know it's easy to do because we have people get emotional about certain things, but I'm always been please don't say everybody or always or never, because that's so general and you're only speaking for you. You can't even speak for everybody else because you can only speak for you because of what you experience. So I'm sorry if I got real statistical with you, Mr. Mojo Joe, but
Hey, we gotta talk real sense.
I studied research, so I had to learn that kind of stuff and how this stuff works. So it's kind of hey, cousin.
I'll send you some stuff. Let me find your name. But I appreciate everybody coming on tonight, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. If anybody have any topics, please put it in the poll, or you can inbox me, and we definitely can talk about it. I'm open to anybody's topic. I do put them up there. I do let the people vote. So when these topics come up, they come off of people voting. Like, they vote for the topic, whatever they really want to talk about. So, put your questions in the box and let me know. But it's been real. And I catch y'all later. Y'all. Birds of a feather.
You know what? Yeah, birds of a feather over there flock together. Both of y'all.